One. All right.
David Austin, you crazy motherfucker. Welcome to the room.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Welcome to the
How's
podcast.
it going? Thank you for having me.
No, yeah, no problem. You know, it's funny because I don't know a lot of people, like, in general, that do not live with their parents. And you're one of those that do not. How incredible is it
It's the best, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I heard it was like, I forgot who the quote was from. It was like, if you spend too much time alone, you start to just like get annoyed by people. And that's what happened after a while. I just love being alone. You know what I mean?
I love being alone. I like
the
that.
solitude is the best, honestly.
I feel that.
So it's really hard because we're always surrounded, like, naturally in this area, always surrounded by people coming and going all the time. So the fact to get some time alone is, like, rare, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
like, actually alone, like,
we're the
peace.
most overpopulated state in the United States.
Really
per
are?
capita, per square mile. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
We
that.
have more people per square mile.
Wasn't that like California? Or something?
No, the New Jersey's got that by a long shot, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we're like we're living on top of each other over here.
Yeah.
So that's why everything feels so crowded around here.
Makes sense. Yeah. Well, that's also because I feel like that's also because people that work in the city don't want to live in the city, and so they always want to come down this way.
I mean, the city's fun to visit.
Yeah.
And then about like 3 hours in, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
You can only take so much.
Yeah,
of
I can only take so many hobos making eye contact with me. It gets rough.
Yeah, like when we went to the city like a few weeks ago or whatever. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's cold. Everybody,
cold.
I can't even wake my way through the street without bumping into someone. And
It's a terrible time. The city, there's things about the city that are really nice, right? It's just like, but like, I rather would look at it from a distance than look at it from inside.
Everything looks prettier from a distance. The city looks great from a couple miles away, and then you get closer and you start seeing the deets.
Oh yeah.
and then you get in there, it's like, oh.
Yeah, nah. I mean, you know what's funny is I had a friend that just moved to New York. He was back within 5 months, like 4 months. Yeah,
He gave up.
It's not for everybody. It's expensive too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think that's the biggest reason they moved
How much
to New
is
Jersey.
it for like an apartment in New York City right now?
A lot.
A lot, but, and also, well, I know that there's certain jobs they pay more. So like because it's it's a metropolitan area, so like they pay more, but it's pretty much paying how much we pay now, but over there.
Ew.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
I don't know. I have a dream one day to move out, and
most of them are like apartments in like
Hopefully not New York.
sky rises,
well,
Unless you got a job that's paying like $300 grand a year.
there's only so much that people can afford. Like I really don't know many people like under the age of 30 that have moved out from their parents' house these days because it's getting so hard.
Yeah.
Financially.
I mean, my parents and I just butt heads. They're very religious, so that wasn't gonna work out when I had like
religious, like what?
Just really religious.
Like if you don't pray on Sunday, you have to get out, kind of thing.
Nah, I was just you're not supposed to have sex until marriage and
really they're like
yeah.
like the deep stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that's like that anymore. They were really like that.
Oh yeah, there's some people still like that. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to last 5 more minutes past when I got kicked out. Honestly, it wasn't working out. But that's probably the biggest reason was the rules. You know what I mean? Like, it had nothing to do with me not wanting to live with my parents. Like, I was like, of course, I don't want to pay rent or nothing or, like, pay for all the groceries. But then it was like, you can't do this, you can't do that.
That reminds me of that movie with Tenacious D, with the Pick of Destiny.
I've never seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
That was him.
Yeah.
Pick of Destination.
the kickapoo.
He's like that guy. Basically, in the beginning, I think Jack Black's character is like a little kid, and his parents are like, you got to be religious, and he was like, no, I want to be a rock star. Then he moves out. It was like a own song, and Meatloaf was like the dad.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. That was great. You gotta watch the movie. I don't know why
I will.
Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny.
I've listened to some of their music. I've never seen the movie.
Yo, what was it? The 2001 release, the self-titled. Bro, that's so good. That album is.
That was before Jack Black was even hot.
Yeah, that was.
He hadn't even done Orange County or anything like that at that point.
That was all the ones where he had all those skits where he's like hard fucking, and it's like all those like if you've seen all those SpongeBob edits on YouTube from back in the day.
Yeah, the first album was like had tribute in it.
Yeah.
This goes into the first topic too, the sensitivity thing, because I feel like a lot of stuff that would have like passed back in the day, you can't get it through now, or even if you can, like a major label wouldn't back it up. Do you get what I'm saying? Like people are just so freaking.
Yeah, I completely understand. Like the shit that they even said on that album like was really fucked, and it was just like it's hilarious to us, but like I feel like people nowadays would just be like, no, like this is not good.
There's a lot of things that you cannot say now that you could probably get away with saying back in the day, like when that movie Tropic Thunder, when the guy was like, you can't go full retard, don't ever go full retard, and now if you say that word,
right,
now you get everyone comes at you. And
that was a great movie, honestly. I love that movie.
That was a phenomenal movie.
Tell me how Robert Downey Jr. did Blackface in 2007, got away with it, basically. Like, no, well, I'm sure he got some shit, but not a lot.
You know what?
But if you do that today, imagine
if it was a cast of just white people, that would be one thing. But there were other black actors in the film, and so
but the fact that he did that, though,
you're right.
Like it was like I'm pretty sure like the reason why they did it that way was because it was supposed to be like an inner meaning of like doing blackface, like it's dumb to do blackface,
right? Yeah.
So that's why they made him do it.
But I think that you could not even get away with doing that today.
No. I mean, this is what we wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah, we're getting in it.
Sensitivity.
Yeah.
Sensitivity. Yeah. Just in case you guys are wondering. Sensitivity.
Why is everybody so
sensitive?
Yeah, why is everyone such a little bitch?
Stop getting offended at everything I say. Stop it. Just stop it.
It's crazy too.
I just, you can make a joke and they were like, "What? Why'd you say that?" And I was like, "Dude,
I feel like Trump, him being in office is really partly a backlash to that.
I've never seen a president get more ridiculed and made fun of.
Right, but what I mean
Trump.
is like, I think he's in office partly because he's so insensitive, and that there's a large cross section of America that just doesn't want to be sensitive anymore to things. You know what I mean?
I think he's got a point. I mean, there is a reason that he won.
Right.
The election, and there's a reason why he actually. The way it's looking, I don't know.
Like how I see it is how he won was because he said all these dumb things and said all these other things that sparked triggers in people that would get him publicity for them people to then want to like actually look into his stuff and then want to vote for him.
So if people weren't as sensitive, he might not even be in office. Honestly, you know what I mean? It would be a balancing out because some people just like, believe it or not, they were like, "Oh, Donald Trump is such a breath of fresh air" and all that.
I guess because like, Obama would have never said the stuff that he said.
I know, but
I think Michelle Obama talks more shit than Obama. Actually.
Maybe. I mean, the cancel culture stuff too. How you can just lose your entire career and body of work and work towards things without any kind of judge and jury and just lose it all because of cancel culture. That's also part of sensitivity. Like how they were pulling up old. Like, have you ever heard of this recurring thing where they pull up old tweets?
Yeah,
they're like,
like James Gunn, like the James.
Right.
James
he
Gunn.
got fired from what movie was it?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. He couldn't, and then somebody else took him in. It was DC, I think, took him in. They're like, all right, if you guys are too much of a pussy to do this, then we'll take him in. You know. So it's like, I just feel like the thing with Kevin Hart too, where they found old tweets of his.
Yeah, they'll use anything against you.
Yeah, and what's wild is, why are you digging that hard?
Yeah.
What
because they want to find something against you.
They want to be offended so freaking bad.
I feel like it's the media too. The media feeds upon it. Feeds upon people's sensitivity.
Well,
they want to dig up stuff to then trigger people to then.
Well, you got to have a headline.
Yeah, that's how reporters make money. That's how the news makes their money. If they could find something, get on dirt on you, and they can air it on the news, and you watch that feeds their revenue, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing with some of these tweet like Twitter or whatever.
Twitter.
This is a perfect example of how people are they just want to be offended about something. I think that these guys, I don't think they ever like name the whistleblowers of this Twitter stuff. You know what I mean? Like they don't say this is who found the tweet.
Yeah.
But I bet money that there are people at these like publications that literally their job is just to dig up dirt. They're like Kevin Hart's about to do this thing for the first time. Spend the next 3 days just scrolling through his thing and pick out the most offensive ones, and then we'll do the rest. We'll pick out which one will cause the hell to come down.
One that was good. Something that was really good that happened recently was the Ricky Gervais. When he just talked so
that
much
monologue
shit.
That was phenomenal. So good.
If you guys haven't seen that monologue, look up the Golden Globes monologue from what, like a week ago? It was only like a few weeks ago. Right.
A few weeks ago. Ricky Gervais is
they looked so uncomfortable. They looked so uncomfortable, and it was wonderful.
Tom Hanks was like...
Yeah.
It's interesting to see what happens when you go against the grain.
He's like,
when you say
you
something
guys
like that.
are. He was pretty much pointing to the fact that they're such hypocrites that they'll talk about the environment and then use a private plane to go to the grocery store. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah, he's like, go pray to your God and fuck off.
Yeah.
And
I think
wants to hear your
I think
shit.
the best line was most of you have less education than Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, we went all out on that one.
See, that's another thing too. That's also sensitivity, is the Greta Thunberg thing. The reason Greta Thunberg pisses people off so much is because they don't like to think that a child knows more than they do.
Yeah.
They don't want to come. They're like, and then nobody wants to be told that they're wrong.
Oh,
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a
There's
little
a lot of
girl,
ego.
No one's willing to have a civil conversation with another person anymore.
it's like, I have 6 kids and a big house. This little girl doesn't know what she's talking about because I have more experience or whatever. But in reality, that's what it really boils down to, is people are just angry with being told that they're wrong, you know, or they're just sensitive to that, you know.
But here's something: if someone has a belief in something and you attack that belief, that's attacking the person themselves, and they get very caught up in that. They get very angry.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my favorite things about Greta Thunberg, is that she pisses people off. I love it. I think it's
Just
great.
like Trump. And
Right.
he'll say
No, well,
anything.
you know what? The thing with Trump is like trying sometimes to offend people. I
does a
don't
good
feel
job.
like Greta Thunberg was trying to offend
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
People are offended because of what they feel in themselves. You know what I mean? Trump is going, they're all losers. They're all whatever. But Greta Thunberg is just laying out facts, and people don't like facts, especially if it goes against what they thought.
Greta Thunberg is more of an awareness speaker, right? I would think.
Well, Greta Thunberg, I mean, you know what's crazy is Greta Thunberg has a platform that like nobody else has an access to. She gets to talk at the UN. She gets to talk at all these like peace accords and stuff, and all these like, you know, these huge like highly publicized events that involve like the Dalai Lama and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, she that's what it really is. She has the access to it. You know?
Well, yeah. Which means she's apparently, there's like one complaint is that she goes around in the plane and she uses all this plastic stuff. She's talking about the environment.
She boats actually. She
Really?
boats from country to country. She takes boats. That's actually.
No.
She says that in her speeches that she takes boats. It's funny because I think if she didn't take boats, she would drop a new speech every day of the week. But she's like, I came here on a boat 3 weeks, you know, across the Atlantic, you know, and that's what her thing is to take a boat. I guess that's how she.
But what does she take when she's on land? Like, if she's got to go from, like, let's say if she boated into New York Harbor, and then she needed to go to California. Is she gonna
The Tesla? She takes a Tesla.
Yeah.
Jesus?
And then plugs it in at the Jersey Shore outlets.
She'll have to.
Well, you know what's funny? It's like right after the Ricky Gervais monologue, I think a couple of people later, Michelle Williams came up and started talking about abortion, basically, and she was talking about like her political stuff, and I was like, this guy just warned you not to say that, and you go off. Did you ever see that one? Check that out. You know what? Man. Michelle Williams.
I didn't watch the Golden Globes, but I saw the monologue because I just kept popping up on social media, and then I watched it, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I love when people lay out the facts. Yeah. Like you ever the Inconvenient Truth, that movie? Yeah. That's what that was all about. It doesn't matter what we want. It doesn't matter what we think. There's truth, and people don't like to face the truth. They like to live in their bubble, and they like to have this fantasy where what we do has no repercussions or effect on the environment or on others.
Well, I think the bitter truth is better than the sweetest lie, right? I mean, you just kind of have to say things sometimes, and you will. I think regardless of what you say these days, you're gonna probably offend somebody. Somebody's gonna sit at their desk and be like, "Oh, cannot believe he said that. How dare he say that?"
The worst kind of lies are lying to yourself. Honestly, you know what I mean? Like, lying to somebody else is one thing, but then if they find out the truth, lying to yourself is not a good thing. And that's what people do a lot. Like cigarette smoking, for example. When people are coming apart in their 50s and they want to blame this and that, or everybody's acting like it's such a tragedy. You smoked cigarettes for 30 years. You know what I mean? That's going to take a toll, It's the same thing.
And like the whole situation now in February, they're getting rid of all flavors of all the e-cigarettes. of all those flavors. So all you can get now is menthol and tobacco.
What are they going to replace it with?
Nothing, because there was apparently a law that went through. I guess only in Jersey.
Really, I didn't know that.
But
they're
you know
taking
what?
them all away.
That's the lobbies, man. That's the lobbies. One of the biggest lies that Americans tell themselves is that we have control over this country because of the Constitution and whatnot. But in reality, most of this country is run by lobbies. Everything that you want to change, there's a lobby fighting against that change.
Yeah.
Cigarettes, the cigarette industries are scared shitless when they saw the numbers. They, like, believe it or not, cigarette smoking is like, I don't know if it's at an all-time low, but it's at a low. It's very low right now compared to what it was 20 years ago. And then those vapes were shooting through the roof. There's a correlation there. You know what I mean? They got nervous. They stomped them out. And mind you, these lobbies have been in place for like 100 years.
Yeah.
These vape companies came up in like people's, like basements.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago. They don't have the resources to go against this, but they take the information that some people are getting emphysema from THC carts that had vitamin C acetate, and then they found some other hole-in-the-wall vape companies that also had vitamin C acetate, and they said, hey, guess what? Everybody has it. They're all making you sick. But in reality, it's not. They have a lot of power. They have a lot of information. Information is power, honestly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My question is, how much information can you have until it kind of drives you insane? How much is too much? I've been questioning that lately because the more I learn about life, the more thoughts, it's like the more insane thoughts you get in your head.
They say the more you know, the less you believe. That's what they say. You know what I mean? The more you know, the less you believe, because there's just less bullshit. If anything, that drives people crazy. Like, I haven't seen the Joker movie, but I think that's kind of part of that. Like, the more he dealt with society, the crazier he went. I didn't see it. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, it was good. And I think a lot of people, the media, hate this movie because it brings out some uncomfortable truths. And I think a lot more people are relating to this movie than they should, maybe. Or there's a few things that are...
Some people are going to... The thing that scares people is that they think some people are going to use that as an excuse for violence. Like, well, look at this guy. That's what happened with me. I was driven crazy. I can beat you up or kill you because I was pushed to it.
Wasn't that what they say about Grand Theft Auto ever since it was like created, right?
Yeah. That's and that was a whole issue too, and I feel like that's just dumb.
Well, you know what? Even though I don't think video games make people do things, I think that people can be desensitized. Do you get what I mean by that? I think that if you play, like, I'm not going to say video games cause shootings or something ridiculous like that, but I think that there are certain things that if you do it enough, you get desensitized to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, people who shoot a lot, it's going to be...
It doesn't really affect them.
Right. It doesn't affect you. But
when you get used to something, I guess.
Right,
you get really comfortable doing something.
Believe it or not, the military uses video games to train.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
They use video games to train, not just drones, but also combat. You know what I mean? I don't know in what branch it was, but they do use video game simulators.
I know they'd use like Battlefield or like Call of Duty.
Right.
Is it that realistic? That relatable?
Battlefield was
maybe Battlefield.
Well, even flight simulators.
Oh, yeah.
Like they get their own stuff sometimes. They don't even go off.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hopefully robots don't replace all of us one day. And
they will. They will.
Especially
me. I'm a freaking cashier, so that job is already gone at Quick Check.
The dark timeline.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of these grocery markets have the what's it called? The automatic
automatic checkout?
Yeah,
Right.
Automatic checkout. That's what you're trying to say.
Well, people also don't leave the house anymore. They have deliveries of food.
Like Amazon does that. Amazon, you can buy groceries online and it'll get shipped to your house. Even ShopRite does that too.
Right.
Everywhere has the delivery service now.
This is the thing, though, right? I was just thinking about this too. I know this is kind of back on topic with the sensitivity thing, though. Is back in the day, right? Not only did you have these services, but you didn't have an outlet to vent your frustrations.
Well, I think that's where the fucking internet comes in.
The fucking internet.
Yeah, because the internet has given everybody a voice, and what you do with that voice is your choice. Oh my god, that rhymes. That's awesome.
Wow.
That's cool. I'm badass. All right.
Somebody's gonna have to copyright
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, right.
Little do you know that's gonna end up on somebody else's like as the name of their podcast.
Yeah, and everybody's gonna copy me, but it's like,
what countries did you say were listening to this, by the way?
it was like Portugal.
Germany and Philippines. And
Shout out to the Philippines. Shout out to Portugal. Shout out to Germany. Right?
Shout out to all you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Keep it moving. Share it. Share this. You know.
Change everything. You know, change
Yeah.
your environment. You know, but everyone has a voice now, and that means there's gonna be some interesting voices that are gonna be heard now. Like the people who yell and complain are kind of heard because they complain. If that makes sense.
Well,
right?
Because people like negative. I feel like people like
negative thoughts and negative
thoughts
tweets,
and
stuff like that brings in more attention.
This sensitivity backlash wouldn't have existed 20 years ago without the internet.
Probably
Because who's
not.
gonna say it? The only outlets you had were your 9 television channels, 30 years ago for going back, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? You had cable. You didn't have this mass, that mob mentality on the internet just to kill somebody's career. Like we said, people love to be offended over stuff. You know what I mean? So they can be offended together and make it really a really big voice. So it's like same thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, when analysts talk about Donald Trump, they say he won the election with a microphone and a Twitter account, and that's it. That's all he did. He didn't do anything else. That wouldn't have been possible 20 years ago, 25 years ago. You know what I mean?
And I feel like that's also a thing with because that's also a relation to with JFK. When JFK won the election, because that was the first time it was being broadcasted on television.
Right, and he was a good-looking guy.
Yeah, and he was a good-looking guy and stuff. And before,
who was he going against? I can't remember. It was somebody ugly too.
I'm pretty sure it was Nixon. I feel like
the first time around,
Nixon tried going for it,
yeah,
and then he didn't go for it, and then eventually he got
Nixon's a weird-looking bastard too, he was. So I can
he did
understand
that whole
that.
scandal thing. So I mean, he
eventually.
If you ever see, that's another movie. I watch. What movie were we just saying? The Pick of Destiny. You got to watch Frost versus Nixon if you've never seen it.
I've heard about that, but I've never
That is
seen
a good one. It's about the guy who interviewed Nixon after he got impeached and left office. Is
it the true story, right?
Yeah, it is a true story, and he pretty much. I don't know. He made it. He got Nixon to a point where he essentially admitted guilt, which was like, yeah, it was like holy shit.
He was not an angel.
No,
in office. Well, I think it's interesting. Like back in the 80s, I guess movies that cursed and stuff would be rated PG, right? And you could
drop the F-bomb in a PG movie once.
Yeah,
PG-13
back in the day.
Back in
the day you could drop the F-bomb.
Well, there was nudity,
but
there would be nudity too, but now it's not like that. Now it's more restricted, and I think because things are more censored now.
Back then. I don't think. I don't think back then they even had PG-13.
No.
There's more limits now to what you can rate your movie.
I think the movie that caused PG-13, I forgot what it was, but there was a big movie that caused PG-13. It might have been. I think Batman was one of the first serious PG-13 movies, but before that,
Batman.
Yeah,
the 1989 run.
Yes, I forgot what movie it was that pushed people to get PG-13
because
they needed a buffer.
Late 80s, early 90s, right?
It was like 87 or 88, I think.
Hold on. So I'm reading something where it says, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom created PG-13 rating.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
It was just pretty raunchy for what it was back then.
Let's see. George Lucas explained Empire. Part of it was I was going through a divorce.
Great. Oh, good lord.
Oh god. Let's not go into that yet.
Yeah, we'll get there later.
They're chosen to a PG-rated film. Still, the darker installment was massively popular. Yeah, brought in 179 million back then, so that's pretty good.
Well, that was So wait, that was the first PG-13 or the one that caused PG-13? Yes.
And then I think
yes.
Really? I didn't know.
Well, you know what it was? It's like
because it was G, PG, R, and then X.
Right.
X.
This is the thing, right? In that movie, a dude gets his heart just freaking ripped out of his chest.
Well, on screen?
And that was the one where like the skin was falling off.
No, that was actually the first one.
Oh, that was the first one.
That was when they opened the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, that was the Ark of the Covenant.
In the second one, dudes are getting their
their
heart pulled out of their chest, and
it was rated PG.
Kids are getting whipped and tortured and stuff, and it was PG. So they were like, all right, something's got to change because it wasn't bad enough to merit R because there was no nudity or curses, but it was scary enough that they were like, there should be some kind of buffer between PG-13. I mean PG and Red
Dawn. starring Patrick Swayze became the first film to be released with a PG-13 rating.
What year was that?
That was in 1984. It was a few minutes.
That's actually a good one.
It was a few months.
I've never seen.
That's a cool movie. That's a movie where
August.
it was fueled by the Cold War and the paranoia of Russia, and the Russians attack America in a small town in like the Midwest to like do it quietly, and then these like teenagers pretty much whoop their butts with a bunch of guns and stuff. It was pretty good for the time. I mean, now if you watch it, you probably roll your eyes about 8 times by the end of it. But you know.
I love older movies because I don't know, new movies are kind of trying to be like the older movies, but not as quite as good. I don't know. There's also a lot of more movies are trying to be more like kid friendly, I guess. I mean, not all of them. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, you know what? That goes along with sensitivity too, because I'm not gonna say the lines because I prefer not to, but there are lines in Just One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You ever heard of that movie?
Well, that's from the 70s.
It's Jack Nicholson.
You can get away with more back in the 70s.
It was the first of his 3 Academy Awards that he won. But the thing was, in that movie, he says some stuff that, like, it almost make you, like, cringe. You're like, ooh.
Is there any line that you can remember that you can say?
I would prefer not to, but I'm going to tell you right now that it was just stuff that not only is taboo, but it was almost like the protagonist of the movie was not even portrayed in a good light. You know what I mean?
I don't
like
think
nowadays,
he was supposed to, right?
No,
he was kind of
not
like a
really.
criminal, wasn't he?
It was just nowadays it would be really hard to redeem that character after that line.
Well, wasn't Nurse Ratched like the big, like she was more of a big threat?
Nurse Ratched was cool. You know what though? I mean, it's crazy because sensitivity goes up, but then at the same time, you're not allowed to say anything because of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a sensitivity to people's opinions, though.
It's easier today to trigger people than it ever has been. And I don't even think the word triggered has been used for that long, right? We haven't even been saying a word like that for that long, I think.
Well, it hasn't been, I feel like it hasn't been commercialized as much as it has been now. Like, everybody says it on the news sites and stuff. And even use it in memes.
Even YouTube is trying to, YouTube is shutting down a lot of channels right now.
Social media scares people bad, bro. Because virality can happen overnight. Something can go viral in like 5 minutes.
Let's let this video go viral, guys, by hitting the like button. And
if you guys want to hit like and subscribe, go for it.
Yes. Tell your friends. Even if it takes to find something embarrassing or bad about it and then to show your friends that part, to just do it out. Even if it's something you don't like.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that we want to say, but we're afraid to say it because we know of the backlash that's going to come with it. There are consequences to actions, and if you say certain things, especially on the internet, then you're going to get some backlash to it. You're going to have some kind of responses, and you might not like some of those responses. Yeah. And so you have to be very careful of what kind of things you do say.
Bored people love to be offended, I'm telling you.
I know. Well, when someone has nothing to do and they're or they're depressed or like they're upset, they're going to find some way to redirect that, that sadness or
you know what? I would like to talk about one thing of sensitivity, actually, because this is a New Jersey headline that's not even I think 6 days old, 5 days old. It was Jersey Mike's. These 2 cops went in. I think it was Manalapan. Maybe one of you guys can correct me. It might have been Homedale. But these 2 cops went into the Jersey Mike's, and one of the employees said, the pigs walked in. It's time to get out the ham or something like that. Yeah. Oink, oink. It's time to get out the ham.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, we're in a day and age where cops are getting offended over that. Back in the day, they used to be able to, they had a lot tougher hide.
Wait, what exactly did they say to the cop? Wait,
they didn't say it to the cops. They
said it to the manager.
He was on the other side of the store, I believe, making sandwiches. You know how they have the line?
The guy who's making the sandwiches?
Well, you know how they have a line of people?
Yeah.
I think he was at the far end of the line, and he said, oink, oink. See, this is really good, because this is New Jersey. You know what I mean? And this is brand new. This is fresh. They're still friggin' posting about this on Asbury Park Press. And, I just can't even believe that that's a thing. Like, you're really gonna...
The kid got fired, immediately.
Yeah, they fired him before the cops even left the store.
Yeah.
He was fired within 5 minutes of it. Now, I'm not saying that...
5 minutes? Oh my God.
I'm not saying that he was right. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have respect for police, because if something's happening at my house, they're going to be the first ones that I call. But come on, bro. I wouldn't even get offended over that. People are getting so sensitive to the point of where now... Policemen are now snitching out 16-year-olds over their dumb comments.
Yeah, and if the manager heard it, then that's completely if he was there and heard that shit right there, that's not that's not okay, especially depending on business guidelines. Like if their business, like if you say something offensive to a customer or about a customer, like with a manager present, like there's certain companies that will be like, no, like that's not good. And this could have been a thing, but I don't know the whole entire story to know if that is actually true or not.
Well, what's the overarching problem? Because it can't just be social media. You know what I mean?
I think there's a few things, because there's a lot of
Go off, because I don't have any idea.
No, well, I do blame. I'm not gonna blame, but I think the internet is the cause of some of. It's not social media, just the internet in general.
Well, people live on the internet.
I feel like
that's one of the
mix
problems.
Of things. I feel like it's a big mix of things. So like, and the internet is like a big catalyst too, because people now talk to other people through social media, right? And so back in the day when they didn't have that, and they would and people would talk and people would get like bullied and stuff, and now that you go into the future, and now that you have kids and stuff, and you don't want them to get bullied, and you try to explain to them, and they don't take it the way that you're supposed to, and so they get offended, and because you don't want them to go through the stuff that you went through, but they're going to go through now a completely different thing, which is what we're going through. These people are going through being triggered all the time because that they're not insensitive to being picked on.
Right.
Because when we were going through school, like we had to deal with those people. But halfway through, we got very insensitive to that shit.
Yeah, it was like whatever. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah. Just like you've noticed that. Like if you can really notice that, especially in schools nowadays. I see a lot of I've heard a lot of stories about kids where someone would just be making fun of someone or whatever, and that kid would get like that kid that was making fun of the other person would get suspended, expelled from school, taken out of wherever.
It's very easy.
It's very weird. It's a very weird thing.
Well,
I feel like adding social media to that just makes it worse.
The internet has connected us, and whether good for bad, that's just kind of the fact that we're more connected now more than we ever have been before, and there are repercussions to that.
And then in some ways, we're more disconnected than ever because of the internet. Because people isolate themselves in their house. They're just like, they turn the lights off and just sit there playing video games, and then go to the internet, and then back to the video games, and get their hot pocket, and then back to the video games, and then back to the internet.
And you can do that
forever. They isolate themselves and stuff. That's it's crazy. I shouldn't be laughing, but there's an epidemic of people in Asia dying while they're playing video games because they're playing till they're malnourished, playing until they get blood clots in their knees and legs, like not moving for hours and hours at a time.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, there are these things called internet cafes. Like obviously we had them years ago, but the different in China and Korea, the reason they're so big is because a lot of people out there don't have the means to own a computer or something, a console. So they go to these internet cafes, they pay. Cafes. Yes, and then they play video games, like 20, 30 of them, playing their own, whatever game their choice is. You pay for the time and then you stay there. And this guy, I think one of them had been there for like 3 straight days. And then
they close?
I don't know. I think it's 24/7 actually.
What?
I think they have somebody come through and vacuum, and that's about it. But
we have places like that around here, but they close.
Yeah, no, not over there. It's how it is. They're more dedicated in Asia to what they do.
There's most of them
right.
There's the games anyway.
There's a dedication, but the thing is, they'll develop blood clots from not moving. That's like a whole different level.
Yeah.
Like, how could you be that? How could you be that disillusioned by technology that you just are like, I don't want to go out there no more. I don't want to experience females. I don't want to like what?
Well, it's kind of like a mental addiction.
I don't want to have a party. I don't want to, I just don't get it.
Do you think it's easier to be offended while you're with people, or to be offended when you're by yourself? Because I find it easier to laugh at things when I'm with friends. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. You know what's funny too?
Do you want to make a fool out of yourself getting angry in front of all your friends when you're all having a good time, right? I mean, some people do. Okay.
Drunk people are a whole different story though, because a group of drunk people will suddenly get pissed about something that's like insignificant. They'll all just talking shit, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Like alcohol kind of just
right. So I don't know. That depends on the substances involved, but I feel like people just love to be offended. That's I've dealt with it in the workplace. People just love to be offended. They're like, oh my God.
I like to just laugh at things. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I've had someone at work yell at me before, and this one time I just started laughing. Like, I was like, you know, I didn't know that, I don't know, I just thought it was funny. He just said something like, do you work here? And I was like, yeah. I wasn't like high or drunk or anything. I just thought it was funny. I was like, yeah, I work here, man.
They say that the best...
And they hated it. They were like, I was like, bro.
What is the saying, though? It's like, kill him with kindness. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the best thing you could do. That's why...
It's one of the only things sometimes you can do.
That's why you got to understand, these guys that lose their jobs and their careers over an old tweet, those apologies are not real. Those apologies that they're, you know, that those press statements that their manager sends out, I'm deeply sorry for this and that. That's not real, dude. You're not going to teach somebody by yelling at them and telling them they're an asshole and doing all that. That's not how
you're just going to create resentment.
Right. That's all you're going to do. You're not going to see, oh, you know what? I'm starting to see it from their perspective. If you're offended, you go, yo, you know, I'm offended by that, dude. You probably shouldn't say that, but we good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like, damn, maybe I was wrong. You know, you're not gonna get through to somebody by
it's all psychological.
By railing into them. You know,
you're just
I mean?
gonna make them upset or just piss them off,
right.
or cause a fight. You know,
right,
if someone's not working, you do that to them. You
know what else is interesting too? The way they separate things in the workplace and deal with them separately instead of like getting people in a room together and talk.
Oh, yeah.
That would work way better if you got people together in a room and talked it out. And so everybody, instead of, let's have this private conversation over here, I'll have that private conversation over there, and then we're all on a different page, but we're going to act like it was settled. What?
And I hate that because they will do that. They will talk to one person separately, talk to another person separately, and then that's it. Where they should be talking to them separately and then putting them together.
Right. Let's deal with it like adults.
Yeah.
You know? What do you do with children? You separate them in the timeout, you know? You put the cone on their head in that corner and you put the other one in this corner.
And then you bring them back together.
Right. But I mean,
figure it out. They have to learn with it.
I just feel like a lot of people, just the sensitivity thing, man.
You know, I think sometimes you got to fight it out. Does that make sense? You know, because here's the thing. Everybody always wants to avoid a fight, right? All right, let's say this. What about two guys have an argument about something, right? And like, oh, let's take this outside, all right? And then they take it outside, and they actually fight, okay? And then after the fight, someone wins and someone loses probably, right? And then they shake hands. You know what? All right. I've seen that before.
I'm going to Google something for you. I don't remember what country it was. I think it was Pakistan or something. But there's this country where they have a day where people meet up. It's like
Fight Club.
Maybe you can look it up. It's like meeting up on New Year's type thing.
I'm about to look up that later.
I don't know the country. I think it might be Russia or like Kazakhstan.
Well, I saw this one video where two guys in high school were in the bathroom fighting, and after the fight, someone got like a bloody nose or something, and he just fell, and the guy ended up helping him up. He was like, "All right, you win, good fight," and that was it. Like the beef was settled right there, right? That's a conflict that you could have easily just talked shit behind their back and then never talk to them, but I think since they fought and just it just happened and it's over.
Right.
After that, there was no bad. Yeah, they let it out. There's no bad conflict after that, right? I don't know if that makes. I think that's in some cases that actually should happen, but no one wants to fight anymore.
You know what it is though? This thing in Kazakhstan or whatever country it was on Uber Facts or something. It was called the Facebook page, but they meet up and. It's on New Year's. It's the way to start New Year's. And you know the airing of grievances on, what was it? What's the thing from Seinfeld? Festivus for the rest of us. They have the airing of the grievances. So on this day, they meet up and everybody that's got issues with each other just daps it out and then they just beat the junk out of each other.
Really?
And that's how they start the new year fresh.
Do they resolve it like at the end? Like they're like, good fight, man. You know what? It's all good.
I would say that probably resolves it. Because what are you gonna say afterwards? You know?
Yo, I hate you. And
yeah, like
I cannot believe you hit me. You know? Cannot believe you hit me harder than I hit you.
I don't know what country it is. I would have to look it up. It was on Uber Facts.
But if someone gets offended and a lot of people just walk away and never gets resolved. They just say, "Oh, I hate you," and they just never, or they'll block them. Blocking. The concept of blocking on the internet it's like, I think if you block someone, that's kind of like a signal that says like, all right, I'm going to hate you forever unless I decide to unblock you one day. I think you could, because right, you could, if someone offends you, you could just block them, right, and never hear them, but they won't want to talk it out. You could just block someone and then that's it, right?
You know what? I think blocking is cowardice. You know, it's. I want to just take you out of mind because I can't face it anymore, or something like that. You know, like they just don't want to deal with looking at it. I guess
I've had people block me for like no reason. Maybe it's the memes that I don't know.
Maybe.
I've been blocked and I'm just like, why did I get blocked? Interesting. I don't know. I think you can easily get blocked for no reason these days.
I'm gonna try and find it.
You try to find that
Continue amongst yourselves. I'm gonna see if I can find this real quick.
Yeah. How many people? Do you know how many people have blocked you? At least in the last year. Like
That's a good question.
At least in the last.
What have you been doing?
I don't know, man. I share some pretty offensive memes on Facebook. Maybe that might sugarcoat people.
Yeah.
Some people don't like.
I
my
try to
memes.
avoid the offensive memes nowadays because I'm. I don't know. The older I get, the more those the consequence.
Yeah, the consequences.
Yeah.
I try to stay far away from sharing any of the ones that have the clear to actually view it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, I hate those. I hate those. Stop sharing those pictures and videos of animals being tortured, guys. All right, that doesn't help the animal. Please stop. Stop.
No.
Please.
Treat your animals right and buy.
I know, but you know what? Sharing that picture around of the dog with his ears cut off and shit, that doesn't help that dog out. That just gives me like it loses faith in humanity, and it spreads that dog's shame all over the world. It does not help.
The internet has brought a lot of uncomfortable realities to things, just like kind of how like the Vietnam War kind of brought a lot of uncomfortable realities to people back then, right? I mean, well, except the internet, you could.
The Vietnam War was a perfect example of America putting their putting themselves where they didn't belong. You know what I mean? Which, not to say that the Vietnamese government at the time was good, because they weren't, but I'm just saying, like, America just loves to get involved in other people's business. They love it. They love to call themselves the heroes. They love to be...
We should just focus on our own things, man.
I mean...
We got a lot of problems of our own. We shouldn't really be trying to help.
I'll tell you this much. The foothold that they have in the Middle East, some of it is to keep the terrorists at bay, but a lot of it is just to keep a chokehold on where there's the most oil in the world. That's a huge piece of it. So there's a lot, like, yes, there's a lot of good reasons to be over there, but then sometimes they'll just put themselves just to and they'll put a facade in front of it. They'll say it's this, but it's really that, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know what we can say and what we can't these days. So when you say something and you don't know what the reaction is going to be, you'd be a little surprised on what people have to say.
I'm still trying to find this thing. It was hilarious to me. I thought it was a great concept, and it's great too because instead of showing two dudes, it's a girl of two girls beating the junk out of each other that they chose.
Oh yeah,
that's interesting.
Gotta love it. Yes.
They're what was it? Oh fuck. Did you hear about So something sensitive. So you know Rocky Johnson, like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, he passed recently. Apparently,
what was his name? Maivia, right? Something Maivia, yeah.
I think so.
He was a legend.
Yeah, and so apparently at his funeral, like Rock was there, of course, but Vince McMahon was there because he, Rocky worked with Vince, and apparently Vince was like what I was told was that he was drunk at the funeral and shit, and it pissed off Rock. I was like, shit, bro, what are you doing?
Vince McMahon was drunk at it?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Like, I was like, how can this man, he's like 89, how can this man fucking be drinking at 89?
Well, you know what? A lot of people can't handle getting old when they're a celebrity. Like, a lot of these celebrities that die of overdoses and stuff, like Prince and like Michael Jackson and stuff, a lot of it is they just can't handle not being relevant anymore. They're just like, oh, let me just medicate myself till I'm asleep, you know.
Well, that makes me wonder how much fame is too much fame for the human mind. How much can we
Michael
take?
Jackson's fame was too much fame.
Oh
for
yeah,
human mind. Holy
he
shit.
couldn't leave his house. He couldn't.
They literally had to close stores so no one will go in there, so that he can go in there.
Right.
Because that if people knew that he was going there, they'd be so flooded. He'd be so flooded of people.
Right. Yeah.
Like
here it is.
everyone in the nearest vicinity, which.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you guys are gonna love this. I was way off the mark. Look at that. Okay, here, let me... Oh, actually, it's better like that. But yeah, look at that.
Oh, the... okay.
Right? Okay?
Yeah.
Look at them whooping each other, right? And then the best part is they're surrounded by, like, the whole community so that everybody knows it went down. Okay?
You'll have to send me that picture.
So it says, on December 25th, a town in Peru celebrates Taka na Koi, where people settle grudges from the past year by fist fighting. Then everyone drinks together.
Could you imagine? Drinks, I like that. Can you imagine that happening in America?
I feel like we'd be better off.
I feel
like we would be better off.
If the thing about me is that if someone,
they do it organized. Americans would just have anarchy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's this like 1,000-year tradition that they've been holding on to. We would just be like all over the place. People be whooping each other.
I think people should be more direct. Like if someone has a problem with me personally, I think they should just tell me, and then maybe we could resolve that, or at least we can kind of get some thoughts on the table. I don't like the idea of me not knowing how people think about me. Although it's gonna happen anyway. But if someone like hates me for some reason, or they disagree with something I said or something, I think they should tell me how they feel, and then I can have a back and forth. I like to share some ideas, because that's one of the main reasons we do this, because I want to get some ideas thrown to the table, and I want to say some things that makes people question. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's about questioning life and questioning things instead of just going with everything.
Right.
I think it's good. It's a great idea to have these kind of discussions where we can share ideas amongst each other, and
I like to share things like that on social media sometimes, because I feel like there's just a lot that people need to realize.
Yeah.
Like the focus on like now, I know people who will spend thousands of dollars on clothes, but then won't like get their life together. Like I just I know, what? How could your priorities be that misplaced? You got like, I don't know, just like $1,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 shoe collection, but you're missing like 6 teeth in your head. Like I just don't, I just don't get it. Like how could you? That's one thing that I don't understand. That's something that flabbergasts me, is how people are so obsessed with name brands. You know what I mean? Like you guys are doing your own thing. That's awesome, because name brands are just a joke. You know what I mean? Like you're paying for the name. That's it.
Yeah.
You could get that same product.
Well, everybody has their own brand now, right? Like you make an Instagram account. That's your brand.
Yeah, it's
right?
True. That is true.
Isn't that you're selling yourself in a way?
Yeah.
Right? To get follows.
That's why girls can so easily get money from just sending nudes, because they
influencers.
Yeah, but they make so much money off this stuff.
Influencers are not a real thing. Oh my god. You are not an influencer of anything.
It was like just basically,
like if I was buff and like to rub myself with tanning oil, I could become an influencer. But what am I influencing?
Loving yourself.
Yes. What am I influencing? Nothing.
There's
nothing that you're influencing. The only reason that the title influencer even came out is because they're like, oh snap, this dude has 3 million followers. Let's pay him $1 million to post our thing. That's how they influence. You get what I'm saying? They're forcing the product out.
Do you notice that Instagram hides the amount of likes you get on pictures now?
That is great. I think that's great. I think that's awesome, because what's funny is I've seen people share photos of them hiking with incredible backgrounds behind them, with the most incredible scenery, and they won't get as many likes as this girl over here who adds 5 dudes a day because she wants to get likes on her profile pictures. It's just like,
and they add them back,
right? It's just like there's something wrong there. You know what I mean? Like people are just putting their priorities in the wrong shit, and a lot of it goes back to social media, and that's why people are so superficial nowadays. Is because back in the day, we weren't taking selfies all day. We weren't posting our face for everybody to see. Now everybody's so super self-conscious of what they look like, whether they're being...
Well, that goes back to the brand. Like, you're always selling yourself on the internet, so you always want to look your best self. That's why people people have to understand what people post on social media is not their best life. Well, I mean, it actually is. It's their highlight.
Yeah, right.
You don't see the bad stuff.
No.
You don't see the when you wake up the next morning throwing up because you drank too much. You don't see that kind of stuff. I mean, some girls obviously post that. Some guys post that.
Some people post that, and it's really bad.
It's just disgusting. Or they...
That's all they post.
There's always like the complete opposite, where a girl is like, or a guy actually too, they're crying in front of the camera, and I can't believe this. I was like, "What are you doing?" you know those people. They cry in front of the camera, like just really cry. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's.
That's like people who film themselves doing good deeds.
Well, they're doing it for a reason. They want the attention for having done that.
You know what? I would have been more impressed if you showed me, like,
do it off the camera.
Do it off camera and then
get recognized by somebody that you don't even know. Like they take a picture of you and then they say something about it. Not doing it yourself. You know?
They're like filming themselves. Like the best is when the camera's ready before they even walk up. They got that camera ready before they're even walking up with their incredible deeds of, oh, here's some new Nikes or here's some McDonald's for my viral channel, you know? And it's like they do it with a smile on their face and act like it's for good deeds.
Doing it
really, they're such a piece of shit inside.
They're
want the
validation.
So superficial. They're the first ones that would make fun of that hobo, but they're doing it for the YouTube likes. They're doing it for the virality of it, you know? Yeah. It's not real.
Yeah, a lot of, I mean, good for the people, I guess, who are getting this stuff. It's like, oh, wow. But we live in kind of a superficial world. And we do things for likes. We do things for subscriptions. And we do things for attention.
No, I agree. Right. But then as we're podcasting...
Well, I think there's a bigger... to something like this, I think there's a bigger thing going on. I think the concept of spreading ideas and talking about certain things that a lot of people don't talk about, I think that's more powerful than just getting some likes.
It is important.
Let's say we get no likes, no subscriptions, nothing, but we get some views and people hear something that they say and they can relate, and maybe it changes their day, or maybe it triggers something in their mind that kind of inspires them, right? That's
everybody
kind of what
likes,
I'm hoping for.
Everybody likes to feel like somebody else is thinking what they're thinking. You know, that's why like really introspective music becomes really popular, is because they're like, damn, I know what that dude was feeling. You know what I mean? So the same thing goes with podcasts and stuff. It's like you're gonna gravitate towards what you agree with and what you like, you know? So that is a good thing about podcasting too, is because, you know, people just don't talk like they used to. Like, I've told people before, this generation of dudes, no offense to you guys because I'm sure you're not made up of this part I'm talking about, but this generation of dudes makes it really easy on me when I'm like, you know, looking for a girlfriend or whatever, because it's like they're meeting a whole freaking mob of people who can't even hold a conversation, you know? Yeah. And then if you can hold a conversation,
you automatically like, wow.
Yeah, you've already got your foot in the door, you know? You're creating the vibes.
Well, it's a lack of social skills.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The isolation I'm talking about.
Well, that's why I think something like this is actually creating social skills, right? I mean, we're having back and forth conversation in person, not over the phone, not on FaceTime, in person. You can see body language, you can see how we feel, how we're talking, the range of motion. You can't do that through the internet. Nothing in the internet substitutes for real life, because interactions like this is what I think people are missing out on, and these is the most important interactions we ever have in our life, is what we, you know, influence in person. You can make a lot more impact on a person in person than you can through the internet. I mean, I think. I mean, you can reach more people through the internet because of globalization, but when you're with people and you create great times and great vibes, probably. No, yeah. When you're with people and you create good vibes and good times, it's so much better, and it's so much more enjoyable and so much more memorable.
Yeah, it very much is.
That's why a lot of online communities try their best to get people together and meet up in person, right? Because it's a lot more meaningful.
I've seen a lot of those, actually. I've seen a lot of people that create communities within their, like, let's say we have let's say our channel, right? Let's say we get, 100,000 subscribers. Let's say, and then we should be doing hey, we're gonna meet up here. Everyone meet up. As many of you guys can meet up at this place. I've seen that Star Wars channel, that specific Star Wars channel, Star Wars Theory. He had a whole bunch of people. He had I think he had like 10,000 people, 15,000 people to meet up in California, downtown Disney.
Wow.
Fucking to go like hang out with him for like a few hours. He had that many people, and then he recorded it and he put it up like on the channel and shit.
See, man, times like those can never be forgotten. Those are the most memorable times of your life, and I prefer to use my youth, the best I can, and to make the most of it, which is one of the reasons I like to spread these ideas.
Don't get married then. Otherwise, the rest of your youth is going to be dedicated to somebody else's youth.
I think it's what you do, even if you're married or not. Like, I mean, you
have kids. I should say, don't get married or have kids right now.
If you have the power, right, to shape your own destiny, right?
Definitely. Honestly, once you have kids, we were all kids at one point, but once you have kids, your destiny is the kids. That's it. Yeah, your destiny is now written.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
I remember my parents, I'm sure, they were kind of more social than they had me, and I was like, oh. Yeah. Not that I was a mistake or anything. I don't think so.
You don't know. I guess you'll never find out.
You're how old are you?
I am 24.
How old are you?
23.
Oh, okay. You guys want to go to a bar later?
No, we got my...
I'm texted right now. We might end up going to the bar. I don't know.
I got my pregame right here.
Hey, from the podcast to the bar, it happens.
It's just, but like times like those is what makes life so memorable.
Yeah.
You can't get memorable times if you're getting offended and on hanging.
Being a little bitch.
I always say, like my catchline, I guess, on these podcasts, never neglect your friends or don't forget about your friends. And I think it's so important.
This is you know what?
You need to create tribes.
Sorry to bring the phone out again, but now that you say that, this is a good quote. The reason I was bringing up my phone is because I always try and post good quotes. Like, yeah, things are cool, but like good quotes are like they can go for life.
Sometimes on Facebook I share quotes because I want someone to look at it and get like a little inspired. Sometimes
this is
I've seen them.
It's crazy. This is from Star Trek: The Next Generation. All right, I was watching Star Trek because I'm a nerd, and you know what the worst part of growing old is? So many of the people you've known all your life are gone, and you realize you didn't take the time to appreciate them while you still could.
Shit,
that's very true.
Deep as fuck.
Yeah, I love that because like that's something that like people don't realize how fragile they are. You know, everybody thinks they're so strong. We're bags.
All it takes is like 2 words.
Yeah, we're bags of liquid and some brittle bones. You know what I mean? That's it. We're bags of blood. That's about it. And people think they're invincible, but you can lose a loved one or a friend in the blink of an eye.
Anytime.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You gotta appreciate the people while we're here. You know, like I feel like I'm looking at the phone to text somebody, but I feel like if you're hanging out with somebody and you're talking to them and they're just staring at the phone, you're just like devaluing that person so heavily.
It's
you know what I mean?
kind of disrespectful.
Right. You have somebody right here and they're not paying attention to you. You know what I mean? It's just wild because I keep saying 20, 30 years ago because I live in the past, I guess. I'm very nostalgic, but back in the day, the people really got to know each other. That's why when we meet old people
like
and
the
they have
Breakfast
like
Club,
a million stories, it's like, what?
Can you imagine if the movie The Breakfast Club happened today?
I mean, yeah, right, yeah.
They would not.
True.
They wouldn't have talked to each other.
They would have never became friends, man.
This would have been the whole Breakfast Club. End of movie.
It would be completely different.
That would have been it. Yeah, you're right. That's a crazy thought. That's a big thing, man. Is people just are isolating themselves. It's very sad. It's very sad. That's why I like. I don't know. I like to focus on like real relationships and whatnot. You know, it's quality over quantity. You know?
I think in fact, the world we live in today, I think there is a greater opportunity today to make friends than ever, and we're not taking it.
Yeah, it's true.
A lot of us are not taking it. Some of us do.
We can become friends with people in Germany.
I actually have used that opportunity. I'm not gonna lie. I actually. I don't remember what it was. I started a Facebook group for some like DJ that I was into when I was a lot younger, and I met somebody in that group that I made from Cuba, and then when I went over and finally visited Cuba, I actually met them. You know what I mean? Yeah. We had been talking for years.
Must have been a great moment.
Yeah,
right?
it was like I had met this guy many times.
Yeah,
but it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like we were separated by thousands of miles and a communist embargo, but I made friends with this guy on the internet because how else would it have happened?
It would not have.
It wouldn't have. I can't have a pen pal in Cuba. They shut that stuff down. They get those letters and they rip them up when they come through the border. You know what I mean? Like that's a perfect example of how the internet could totally connect you with somebody that you might have never thought you would have been friends with. Like pen pals. Yeah, pen pals are cool, but you could have 1 million now.
Yeah, so I say the internet is not all bad. I think it's just the way we use it a lot.
Definitely. The internet originally was nothing but positive stuff. I mean, not nothing, because the early internet, because of the lack of security, a lot of really disgusting things used to happen. But for the most part, the early internet was like tame compared to what it is now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it really was. Like it sounds like it wasn't because they were probably less policing and whatnot, but people were about it. You know what I mean? Like they used the message boards and and all that stuff.
They had, because it was the first time that they could, so they were taking advantage.
Right? Yeah.
Now that it's like just a normal thing on here that that everybody has, and it's not like the first time they've ever seen it.
A lot of positive stuff can come from the internet. Like GoFundMe, not all of it. Like there's some fake ones, like these idiots in New Jersey. I'm sure you guys heard about it. This couple who faked giving money to a hobo, and then it turned out that they were full of it. But the thing is, GoFundMe, like just the way people can bring notice to things, like Coney. Remember Coney, 2012, when everybody was bugging out over Coney?
Yeah,
that African warlord. Some of that stuff would have never had attention in the previous years.
It's crazy.
Know what I mean?
It's crazy what has come to light in the past few years.
Well, the internet can be used for a lot of positive.
It can be used for good or evil.
Yeah, like there's that thing with that tree thing right now that's going on right now, where like I know a lot of not influencers, but people with like high subscriber counts and stuff on YouTube. I think Mr. Beast is one of them. He always he said he was donating like $100 million to that tree thing to plant like 100 million trees or some shit
in Australia.
Or no, I don't remember where like it's supposed to be. Hold on, I'm gonna look up the tree thing.
I heard Australia is getting a lot of money too coming through.
Oh yeah, because they lost like the majority of their wildlife and the tree.
I heard it was like twice the size of Massachusetts, something like that.
Oh yeah, it was fucked over there. But the
3 Americans just died actually.
Yeah, and I know the Irwins, they saved like 90,000, almost 100,000 animals.
Insanity. Can you imagine how much manpower they have to have for that?
Oh, I know.
That's got to be a lot of people. That's probably the biggest. I don't know anything about it, but I know that Australia zoo's got to be one of the biggest on the planet, especially considering how much wildlife they have.
Plant trees, Mr. Beast. Hold on, I'm gonna try to see if I can find it. YouTuber Mr. Beast planting tree campaign hits 20 million. This was last year. Yeah, so and like people like Elon Musk and all those people, the CEO of YouTube, they donated a whole bunch of money to it.
See, I fuck with Elon Musk, man. Have you ever now he has said some fucked up shit that I will not I'm sure you know what I'm talking about with the submersible thing. He wanted to make a submarine to save those kids that were stuck in that cave in like Philippines or Indonesia or something. Yeah, but I like him because he doesn't give a crap. You know what I mean? It's so awesome to see somebody that's in complete power and just doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like, what are they gonna do? They can't do anything to him. He owns the company. You can't fire him.
Did you hear something about how Elon Musk is trying to create a commercial flight
to the moon,
to
right?
Mars.
Oh, okay.
Create communities on Mars.
Yes. Well, you know what? One of the things that I hated that Obama did was he defunded NASA. I
didn't know that.
He heavily defunded NASA. So, for those of you who don't know, America hasn't actually sent people to outer space on their dime in years. Yeah. We now use Russian aircraft. We go up with Russia. Believe it or not. I'm not kidding. Yeah. We go up with Russia because Obama defunded NASA, which I don't know what he was trying to take that money for, but now it's now taking privatized companies like Elon Musk's SpaceX to go to outer space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he said he's trying to build a fleet of 1,000 starships.
That's crazy. That sounds almost like science fiction. It's awesome.
Sounds like that new Star Wars movie.
And like it says, he plans to send 1 million people to Mars by 2050 by launching 3 Starship rockets every day and creating a lot of jobs on the red planet.
That would be awesome. I mean, I was telling you guys, I was such a nerd as a kid that I went to space camp when I was like 10 years old.
What's that like?
It was awesome, honestly. I mean, I was 11 actually, because it was right. You know what was crazy? It was only a couple months after 9/11, so there was this heightened security.
Oh yeah.
And just getting into where space camp was in like Cape Canaveral, that area, you actually had to like go by armed military. They had to check that this was really the right guys that were coming in.
Really?
And then they took us to areas of Cape Canaveral where they have the launch sequences and Space Command, like whatever it's called, I think it's called Space Command. You know where they have that big room of dudes that are just looking up at a camera? Yeah. I mean, at the screen. Yeah, they took us there and everything. But, like, it's sad to me because that was the future. That's the future of people. You know what I mean? Is we're going to end up having to go to outer space eventually. Everybody acts like it's some kind of, like, science fiction element or like some
because they feel like it's the future. That's not
right,
not part of their
but that
plan.
we're gonna have to that's where we're gonna end up. You know what I mean? Especially with the way the world's getting overpopulated. Like when my mom, I forgot who it was. She'll tell me like, "Oh, when are you gonna have a kid?" You know, I'm just like, I think the world has enough kids. You know, we're overpopulated as hell.
I'm nervous to bring a kid into this world right now myself. So I'm just like, I don't know.
I think that's a great reason not to have a child.
I mean, some people may be ready and some are not. I'm good looks to the ones who are ready. That's great. I'm just not. You know, my parents might not, or grandparents or whoever, they might not, you know, fully understand that. And, you know, it's okay. Some people are just not, you know, not ready.
You know what? I just don't want my children to live in a world where those last 3 Star Wars movies existed. You know, I want to imagine that it ended at Episode 3. I want to imagine that they just stopped there.
I think that The Force Awakens...
Those movies were trash.
The Force Awakens was good because it set up some interesting stuff. But
we're going off on a tangent. No, are we allowed to do this?
We can do whatever we want.
Go? Okay.
This is ours. Let's just talk about it. Continue what you were saying.
It's... The Last Jedi took everything that The Force Awakens set up and was like, I don't think so. Yeah. I'm going to do what I want. Fuck you.
You know,
which made Star Wars fans very sensitive about things that happen in Star Wars now. Now that I'm now bringing this back into the sensitivity.
We appreciate the prequels a lot more. That's for sure. Everybody hated the prequels. I do. Now I'm like they're classics. Okay. They're classics now.
Yeah, like and what's great, I think, because I watch more things of Star Wars that are not just the movies. Like I watched.
Me too. I watched
the Clone Wars television series.
Yeah.
I was literally just watching it before you guys showed up here. And
that's
like
cool.
There's a new season coming out, isn't there?
Yeah. Oh my god, the trailer looks phenomenal. But
yeah.
like
Darth Maul's dead. I don't care what they say.
Reading and watching like all these other things, like it helps these movies, and it helps like push up these movies where we thought like the movies are trash.
I want to imagine
that just brings it up to a new light after watching this series. You know.
Do you prefer the EU over these last 3 movies? Like, did you ever hear the Heir to the Empire, the Jedi Academy series or whatever, where like Luke and like Leia has kids, like 2 twins with Han Solo and stuff?
Yeah,
I thought that stuff was
Jason Solo and all
right.
that.
I thought that stuff was good. I preferred it.
Well, yeah. Well, like you also got to remember. Like, they had to do with what they had because, you know, Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher, they're fucking old.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, that could have never... They would have had to make those movies in, like, the late 80s to make them happen.
Or, like when the prequels happened, they would have to make them.
I think they would have been even too old then. You ever seen what... Slightly. Yeah, did you ever see what Mark Hamill is the cock knocker?
Yeah.
And James...
The cock knocker.
I love Kevin Smith.
Can we just say that if Kevin Smith makes another like 10 movies, I would be fine with
Can I please cameo in his next movie? If he ever sees this.
He just announced he's announced them before in the past and then lost funding because he doesn't own the rights. Believe it or not, he doesn't own the rights to Clerks or Mallrats. Yeah. He only owns the rights to the names Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah. So
not Dogma either, right?
No. So the reason Mallrats 2 got shut down is because the studio was like, we don't think it's gonna.
We're gonna get too offended,
or they're not, or they didn't think they were gonna break even because Mallrats was actually a flop. Believe it or not.
Okay, but over the time it's gained great popularity.
But I'm just saying that's the only reason they didn't happen, and why Jay and Silent Bob. What's the new one? The reboot. That's why that happened was because he could just shop that around anywhere he wanted. But with Mallrats, he had to go to Universal and stuff like that. But if he really does make Mallrats 2,
Clerks 3.
And I think Clerks 3, he said, I would love it. I would love it.
I think he's already gotten the thing to go ahead with Clerks 3.
I think those movies are like the Bible of people that work in retail. The Clerks movies.
Well, Clerks 1 did something...
Even Mallrats.
Yeah, well, Clerks did something very interesting in the early 90s. And it was in black and white, so that's a plus. What it did was it took all this interesting humor and these lines of dialogue that made it feel so real. and people really loved that. Like it felt like authenticity, right?
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah, like that's like a relatable quote right there. That's actually me yesterday.
That's literally my entire job in a nutshell.
That was me yesterday. 2 days ago.
2 days ago?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, we needed those movies.
Some movies come at the right time.
Yeah, what's that one movie with Dane Cook? I thought that was really good too. It wasn't Waiting. It was the one with where he works at like the Costco type place. Employee of the month?
I think it is.
That was great. I loved it. Very underrated movie.
Yeah, and they do like that obstacle course.
Yes, at the end. I would have won that shit. Oh man, because the people that some of the I'm not even gonna get into it, but like that movie was great. Like as much I'm not even a fan of Dane Cook, but I love stuff like that because everybody wants to like live vicariously through these movies, you know, like I would love to have this life. But I love movies where they just like break it down to our level, to the normal person's level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You ever notice that a lot of movies are about like lawyers and like big people stuff? Like people who write movies will most likely write movies based on what they've been through, right? So not a lot of people like Kevin Smith make movies about the little guy.
No,
like
it is true. Right? Actually,
especially with like all these superhero movies.
One of the reasons for that is because people will go straight from high school to college. And then learn how to write a film, or learn how to do screenplays, or learn how to be a director. But they miss that. They miss that retail experience.
Sylvester Stallone
they miss
did
that blue collar job. You know what I mean? Like they miss that because they just so their stories are all these like ridiculously entitled.
Yeah.
Like I forgot what movie it was. What was the one where Jennifer Lawrence has like mental illness and so does Bradley Cooper? What was that? Oh, Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, I heard about that. I have not watched that though.
Oh my god, I've never seen more white privilege in a movie in my life. It was ridiculous. It was like if I had the time to bullshit like those people did in that movie. Damn, bro, I'd be walking down the street like...
I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, like, I ain't got to do shit. I'll just, continue to mooch. But, I mean, like...
I think when Sylvester Stallone made Rocky, though, he was kind of in that, like, underdog mentality, and that's why he made such a great movie, right? Because Rocky is about an underdog that completely defies the odds and goes the distance.
Honestly, the thing that struck a chord with me the most about Rocky, 1... Not 2.
Yeah, I'm talking about Rocky 1.
Not
Rocky
the shitty sequels where he's like montaging for half the movie.
Come on, bro. I love Rocky 4.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm
going to tell you something.
I
had not a fight, but it was like a party that I was at. And the entire party was like, no, Rocky 4 is better than 3. I was the only person in the room with like 20 people in this room. Like, nah, Rocky 3 is the best. I mean, Clubber Lang, Mr. T. Hey, woman. Why don't you come be with a real man? I bet you stay up all night wishing you was with a real man. Like, I thought that was great. I thought that Clubber Lang was like tantamount to like a retard. You know what I mean? He was like, I'll break you. Like, oh, that's thrilling. That's some dialogue for you.
Yeah.
But no, for real. Rocky 1. The reason that I loved Rocky 1 was they literally showed how disgusting his apartment was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
He had those two turtles.
It was so raw.
Right. These 2 turtles, by the way, are still alive that he had in the first movie.
Yeah.
They're like 50 now, but I just thought that was great. Because that's how a lot of people live. You know what I mean? Like that's how a lot of people live. And
he showed that to light. And this is in the 70s.
And he wasn't a bad guy. A lot of people live like that because they're drug addicts or because they just have no motivation. But Rocky was just living it because life is hard. You know what I mean? Like that's the reality of shit right there.
Life is hard, man.
And he didn't win at the end of the movie.
That's what I like about it the most. It wasn't about that. It was about going the distance.
Right, exactly.
And he did.
They say that sometimes the journey is more more important than the destination.
Correct,
or whatever.
Yeah. I believe in that.
I agree.
I mean, we're on a journey right now. I mean, aren't we? Right.
I mean, every day is a journey. You know what I mean? Right. You experience something new every day. If you think you know everything, you're crazy.
I think it's always good to be asking questions.
Definitely.
I
learn new things.
Ask everything. Assume you know nothing. Question everything.
Truly.
That's what I say.
No, that is good.
Because when you think you know everything is when you know nothing.
And that's when you become very sensitive to things. Because if you feel like you know everything, then when someone tells you something, then you're going to be like, wrong.
Well, here's the thing.
How do we get people out of that? How do you get people to stop being so sensitive?
Well, here's
they
the
need
thing.
to be more open-minded.
So I think ego plays a big part in that.
Yes.
Because when you're ego invested in something and you really believe in something, and someone tells you something else contrary to what you believe, you will get insanely... You're going to go at them.
You know what? That's crazy that you say that, because I just saw in almost a fight break out at a place that I will not mention that serves coffee often. But he like bumped into the guy while he was getting his coffee, and the dude said, "Come on, bro, you're not even gonna say excuse me?" And he goes, "I did say excuse me, but your ego was too loud. It was in the way."
That's great.
I was like,
what the fuck does this guy say?
and he just stared at him and walked away. Like, he didn't even say anything back, because what do you say to that? What do you say to that? What do you say to that? A reality... Nothing hits harder than a reality
I think
check.
ego is actually a very powerful word.
Yeah.
An ego can make or break
By the way, I keep doing this because it's a tad chilly. So I'm just trying to warm my hands up. These people are going to be looking at this guy and be like, God, this guy's got a lot of nervous tics. But in reality, I'm just like, hey, let me get my hands warmed up a little.
Because you seem like a guy who doesn't really care what people think, right?
You know what?
Or do you?
You know what?
That's actually a good question. Is it good to care what people think?
You know what? I don't care about what people think, especially if it goes against what I believe. But sometimes, and I'm starting to learn this the older I get, is caring about what people think can make you more understanding sometimes. Not caring about what people think's like, dude, you're a freaking loser because you like that. I mean, like,
it's like, okay,
sometimes you gotta put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You have to live vicariously through their shoes.
Well, that's why I always ask why. Why is this person doing what they're doing? Why is their mind making them do this? I'm always trying to ask why to give myself a better perspective.
Some people are so simple too. I could see right through them. Like they can act like there's a lot to it, but I'm just like, nah. I know.
There are social cues that you can tell when people are full of crap,
right? Or
when they're being genuine.
Yeah, consistent.
It's not always
nonsense. Like when people do just consistent nonsense, and it's like, you have enough money for this, but you don't have enough money to get that in order. It's like, after a while, that person's just shot out. They just don't know how to handle their money, or can't think ahead far enough to,
I think it's important, actually, to care. You know how people usually say, well, don't care what anyone else thinks, you're just great the way you are. I think it's important to care what people think, because that's one of the ways you improve yourself, right?
I thought you were gonna say you don't care about what anybody thinks.
Well, like,
you have to care to an extent. You have to care about it's not about like just caring to make your whole life to be like, oh, I want these people to feel, to like me, so I'm gonna do this,
right?
So they can be like, oh, but it's more of like, I want to listen to what they have to say and then respond.
Right.
It's more. I feel like it's more like that, like caring to an extent.
I mean, in some type of way, with like even a little thing. I think we all, no matter what, care what people think. It's like a human thing, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna deny human emotion.
Oh yeah.
I feel. Like, you can say, oh, I don't care what he thinks, but you might
people
go home later that day.
You know what's funny too, is when a dude. Just think, and I know this is the All Gains podcast, right? But like, if a dude works on his body a lot,
that's what we do.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you care a little bit. You know what I mean? You don't want to look like a slob. You don't want to look like a slob. You don't want to look a certain way.
There is a reason you want to get more healthy, right? When you go to the gym, but there's also a social aspect to that. You want to have a better body, right? Because you want to, in some way, you kind of want to show it off. That's why a lot of these progress pictures are taken, right? Because you want others to see your progress.
Right.
It's not a bad thing.
You know what people need to stop doing?
What do they need to stop doing?
People got to stop posting progress pictures a month into their workout. You ever seen
what
that?
If it's a great amount of change, though?
Nah. Every dude or girl that I've ever seen.
What about like those 30 day challenges?
Well, this is what I'm going to say. Every dude or girl that I see posts a progress picture when they've lost like 10 pounds, they never follow through. Ever. If you're that excited to show people that little bit of progress, you're just working off of like serotonin. You're not really going off of real progress. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are worried more about the moment. Let me just show this picture, and then Like, no, wait, like a process like that takes time.
I've been seeing now more people are actually doing. I actually seen a post on our Instagram. Someone posted like a 2-year long progress.
I like that.
And it was just complete transformation.
Complete transformation.
Yeah.
Amazing. I was like, wow, that is hard
but you know
work
what's
right there.
You know what's funny is I'm sure he didn't do it. He might have. I don't know this person, but if you're showing it in like small increments, I guess that's cool.
Like picture 1 week, 2 weeks,
right?
3 weeks.
But you got to look at the big picture, man.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you said that because I've had people ask me, because I have lost like 70 pounds on the keto diet, and I've had people ask me, all right, prove it to me that you've lost. Where's your progress picture? And I'm actually waiting for I want to be in the right perfect shape to take a before and after to get like the best results.
Screw that. So, honestly, screw them. Like if you want to do it, that's all you. But screw them for thinking that you need some kind of progress picture. You know what the progress?
Sometimes they don't even believe you.
You know what the progress picture is? You.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at me now.
Like, you don't need to show anybody the progress. You know what's funny is when you told me that you used to be heavy or whatever.
Yeah.
If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The further you get away,
I surprised myself.
The further you get away from that, though, the less people are even gonna know. They're gonna just think this has been you. You know what I mean? This has been you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it probably always was you. You just didn't have the tools or the knowledge at the time.
Well, I think I like telling people only because I think it kind of gives hope to someone else. Like, if I can do it, you can do it kind of thing. Right. I mean, because I've already had people who have looked at me and said, wow, you can do that on keto? Because we do a diet that's like, I guess you could say controversial. Because a lot of people, especially like my coworkers that I work with personally, they don't believe in my diet.
The stuff you be eating, though, man. He eats. Nah.
Yeah, tell what I eat. What confuses you?
He eats. This dude eats pepper with a side of steak. All right. All right. Like for real. He'll keep cracking too. I'm sitting there watching him. He just keeps cracking the more.
To be fair,
what does that do?
I do eat salt with a side of steak too.
Oh, what does that do? Is that supposed to do something?
Salt.
It dries up.
2 hours later.
Salt is sodium, right?
Right.
So
you need sodium.
You need sodium because sodium is an electrolyte. Okay. And because like in our diet, like we run through water in our system like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't have carbs to keep it there.
Mm-hmm. The keto is a low carb, high fat diet, by the way.
Yeah. So you need as much electrolytes in you as possible. So that's why we put a lot of salt. He likes pepper because that's just him. But like I don't do pepper though.
Bro, I'm not a fan. My asshole would be on fire if I ate steak the way you eat steak, bro. Oh my god, I'd be shitting out blood if I ate steak the way you eat steak, bro.
I'll do broccoli and I'll do like hard-boiled eggs. I'll eat like 12 hard-boiled eggs.
I know, but the pepper thing's intense. You just keep cracking them too.
That's my.
He'll be like this. He'll be mid conversation like just because it's like a second. It's like a reflex at this point. Just how to do it. Come on, you can have a Twinkie every once in a while, man.
Nah.
I gotta say the same way. You can't even.
He's worse than me. He's worse.
I can't. There's things that I'd be able to eat that won't affect me, but if I have something like,
his cheat is vanilla ice cream.
If I eat like vanilla ice cream, like Eddie's vanilla ice cream or something like that, or like a bagel with butter, bro, I get destroyed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What does that mean, destroyed?
Like destroyed. I feel sick. I start to get sick, and then
because your body now rejects it or something.
Yeah, my body completely rejects it.
Why would you want that? You don't want any sugar. You don't want to experience a donut or a
I don't
cookie
crave
every
it.
once in a while.
We don't crave it because when your body is absent of carbs, your cravings go away because you don't eat.
You know what's
you
funny?
run on
it's
your
not
own
even
body
a craving.
fat.
I just like the taste.
Well, who doesn't?
I want to have that different consistency.
Yeah, but that shit fucks you.
Can I ask you why can I eat like crap then and stay skinny?
Because you're insulin sensitive.
What does that mean?
That means.
See, I don't know. You know what's funny? You guys have the worst guest ever for the All Gains podcast because I know nothing about. I know nothing about health and fitness, honestly.
Okay, well here's the thing.
I've been the same weight since I was like 15.
So insulin is the fat storage hormone, right? That's what basically code words. So some people genetically are able to eat more carbs and not gain weight compared to someone like me or maybe him. That if I eat carbs, my body reacts differently than you. So I get fat easily from carbs. I bloat. My inflammation goes very high.
Weight. I can't even put it on.
But see, that's because your insulin doesn't get spiked like mine does.
Remember we were talking
You're
about,
able to eat more than me.
Remember we were talking about how you could get ripped if you wanted to and everything? Yeah. It's not a matter of like whether I can or not. I can't even afford the amount of food that it takes for me.
Sometimes it doesn't take
muscle.
too much, honestly. You can get like a 30-pack of eggs for like $4, and
you could do
Right.
it. You could do
You'd
it.
be shocked how much I could eat without putting on weight. I don't know what it is. My dad's
Try eating
6'3" and like 180 pounds. My mom's 5'1" and like 100 pounds. So it's just like I don't know. It's just
well,
hard.
you can eat a whole thing of pizza, but I dare you to eat like a whole thing of steaks.
No.
There's a big difference.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I had
Fat and
like,
protein is a
3
more
pounds of
satiety
steak
effect. Fat and
a few hours ago.
Fat and protein.
3 pounds of steak.
I can't deny that I had 3 pounds of steak, and I'm
We see.
gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. I don't need to eat until tomorrow at like.
I bet.
He's worse than me because he eats less things of food than like he's
Like,
more picky.
I'm very picky on food. When he first told
You
me to
guys
do
must
this
shit a
stuff-
lot.
No, once a day. Once a day.
that's
If
it?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, once a day usually.
It's not like.
And it's,
Come on, give me a break. You must.
man,
you must
no,
be like.
because you got to think about it this way: the shit that comes out of you, right? Most of that is stuff that your body doesn't need anymore. But a lot of the stuff that we eat, our body needs, and our body takes back
Right.
and puts it through our body. So there's not that much. There was a time. There was actually a time. I'm gonna get really gross right now. There was a time when I first started. I didn't have to take a shit for fucking like 3 days because there was nothing in my body like for me to shit out.
With fiber or anything. Too.
Well, your body digests meat differently than it would like regular.
the
I
heck
think
was
I
that?
think that was a sneeze. Let's just go with
Was
that.
it?
Probably.
It
Yeah.
sounded like an animal.
Yeah.
I heard a scratch over there
That's
earlier.
what-
I'm
well,
like,
yeah, no,
dang.
there's
Where are we at now?
apparently there's a coyote loose in
cool.
Aberdeen.
Good.
Cool.
Good. Hopefully you find
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I seen a fox too recently. But no, but
We're
like,
throwing you to the no.
no, but
Good.
like
Whatever.
seriously, like
You're the
there's,
diesel.
I
there's
lived
a
a
lot
great
of things that we eat on this diet that actually help our body, and there's not a lot of crap that has to be shat out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like,
Correct. Your
only,
body
because like
processes.
shitting once a day is like normal.
Your body processes
Especially on
meat.
this
You know what's weird
Slower.
though is as much as I'm not into health food, my body is so reactive to what I eat. that
Your gut, right?
I go the whole body though, my mind, everything.
So that's sugar,
That
man.
I'll go
So that's
through.
sugar.
I'll go through. No, but this is the thing is like, I'll go through a week where I eat nothing but salad really because like I feel it that I'm not 100. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then I'll eat those salads and I'm just like, oh man, I feel 100% better. You know, like my body is really reactive to stuff. So even
one
though
of
I
the-
don't like keep on top of it,
Yeah.
I definitely don't just
You know when to stop.
inundate my body with bad food nonstop.
What foods
like
would
today
you-
I had a salad.
What foods would you say you eat the most of when you're not eating salads?
Oh, you know, I don't see now. This is just gonna totally contradict everything I said. Probably, I love Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell.
The way most
Can
people
I just
do.
tell you, nothing. Very few things in life make me as happy as like a cheesy gordita.
Yeah, because your
crunch.
dopamine level.
Can I now ruin your love for Taco Bell?
Why? I already listen.
Why?
Can I tell you something? I don't have any compunctions about how bad it is. I know it's terrible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that meat is not real.
No,
whatsoever.
I'm sure it's not. I've heard it's like
Not real whatsoever.
I've heard it's. I think
garbage.
it's McDonald's is like pink liquid. That's like.
It used to be like
It
pink
used to
slime,
be.
like a lot of
Their-
it. They
their
changed
quar-
it.
Their
though.
quarter pounders are now. They actually changed their quarter pounders now, which and it's
love
technically real meat.
McDonald's too, I'm
It's
not gonna
technically
lie.
real meat, and they don't freeze their quarter pounders like Wendy's doesn't freeze.
You guys got to understand too, because I live alone. The cheaper the food, the better.
See,
So
and honestly,
I can't always like.
honestly,
fight it.
that's completely cool too because like
But you did say I could get eggs if I wanted to, just piled
now
eggs.
I
Yeah,
know
they
I know
should, yeah.
like Aldi's they sell like a dozen eggs for 99 cents.
He's
Yeah.
right. He's right,
Like
man.
you don't have like
I
you
love
don't
Aldi's.
have to. You don't have to get like the best eggs possible. It's recommended.
Right.
This man will get pasteurized.
I get
eggs.
pasture-raised organic.
Yeah.
I don't even. What is that?
It means the chickens are not fed all the soy and all the grains, and they're not in cages. They're actually let loose in the yard. They can roam around, so they live healthy lives, and they're fed natural foods that chickens are supposed to eat. Compared to
Shout out to the vegans. Even though we eat meat, we like to have our chickens run free. You know, roam free.
And,
Oh, you're
like,
vegan?
I respect.
No, I'm giving a shout out to the vegans. We
Listen,
love you guys. All right.
That's why I respect vegans and like to a certain extent because there's vegans that are very volatile where they
get pissed.
they
and
get
stuff.
pissed off and stuff. But like there's certain vegans that also respect us meat eaters where when we say that animals should be not in cages and not they should be let free and eat their food naturally and then die naturally, right?
Right.
like I've had conversations with vegans where I was going off with them like that
Right.
for 30 minutes, and we had a great conversation. We're on two opposite sides of the spectrum. They only
And
eat,
nobody got offended.
and no one got offended.
And that's cool.
And
Look at that.
I don't know how to do that
That's
shit.
why I respect vegans. That's why I respect certain vegans, because we
yeah.
can have those conversations, and they can respect what I feel, what I believe, and I can respect what they believe. And you can
Can I
do
ask you guys
can do
something real
keto
quick?
on vegan. Like
I
vegan keto.
heard a YouTuber, and the more I watched it, the more it made sense, and the more it like really was like, damn, that's real. Was Greta Thunberg? Remember we were talking that girl that pisses everybody off because she actually knows what she's talking about. Yeah, that girl. They were talking about how her having a vegan diet her whole life stunted her growth. How she has that big noggin and that tiny little body, and she's 16, believe it or not.
Yeah.
When I was watching this video about how veganism had maybe stunted her growth, they even had photos of her sister next to her who's younger but taller and more built. And Greta Thunberg, I thought she was 12 or 13. Turns out she's 16.
I thought she was 15.
It turns out she's 16 going on 17.
Wow.
So it's like, do you think there's any truth to that?
Okay.
So I feel like at least in my eyes, it depends on the specifics of things that they're eating, right? If they're eating more natural stuff, things that are not processed.
Her parents were vegan, so they forced her to.
Yeah.
Not forced her, but like from birth, whatever.
Because I feel like if they eat less processed stuff, more organic but vegan, I feel like that's a lot better than it would be to eat all these vegan processed shit. Like, like how Burger King is doing that Impossible Burger.
yeah.
Garbage.
That type of shit will stint your
Why?
growth.
Because, dude, it's processed. They use canola oil. They use so many bad ingredients to
They
make
use
that.
so many bad things
Soy.
that actually affect your body.
Boca burgers?
Don't know what that is. I don't know the
You
ingredients.
don't know what
of
a
that.
Boca burger is?
Oh, like with the brand?
Yeah, it's called Boca burger.
I don't know the ingredients
My
of that.
parents
though.
used to like that stuff because it didn't make them gain weight, I guess.
I would have to look at the ingredients. I can't tell you. Well, here's the thing.
It's healthy. It's like veggie burger. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. There's an agenda right now that says it's a misconception that's saying meat is bad for you. That's false information.
I agree. I mean,
Okay.
anybody
if you
who
wanna-
thinks that you're supposed to just eat fruit and vegetables needs to look at. I mean, if you believe in evolution, were primates eating just fruits and vegetables?
No, we need meat.
They
We need
eat meat. They eat meat. They had bugs and other little critters and shit like that. They ate other animals. And then you look at other really built healthy animals. They don't they don't eat vegetables only. They eat.
The truth is that meat is not bad for you. I think some of the way we process some meats is bad because of the way we process. But meat itself is not bad for you.
No, not
it's
at all.
not.
That's
Especially
crazy.
if you raise the animals right.
Everything
and
in moderation, though. Everything.
well, water can kill you if you drink enough.
Right.
You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
Like,
You can. Yeah. I guess.
if you want to be vegan, good for you. But don't say meat is bad for you. Don't go on that propaganda because that's false. Meat is not bad for you.
Right.
Same thing. You can't say you can only. You
it's
can
the same
only.
thing, like vegetables are. You can't say vegetables are bad for you because technically they're not either, right?
No.
Because we're as humans, as a Homo sapien, we are omnivores. We have to eat both.
Right.
Yeah, I think the best solution is to eat the best of the animals, the best of the plants. We're omnivores. We should eat the best of everything, right?
Right.
That's for max results. It's not about carnivore or it's not about veganism. It's
Herbivore.
about
It's not about either of those. It's about being an omnivore.
Yeah.
That's what
the
we
best
are.
of vegetables, the best of fruits, the ones that don't spike a lot of insulin, and the best of meats, which is grass-fed, organic. Grass-fed, grass-finished organic meats are the best because the cows and the chickens and the animals, they're treated right and they're fed the correct foods compared to what we feed them.
I've heard. I mean,
You're gonna
this
hear a lot
is
of shit.
another vegetarian thing, but I've heard them saying that when the animals stress, that you accept that stress into yourself when you eat it, which is of course it sounds like fantasy.
I
but,
get that. Okay,
but they're saying
chickens,
that when the animal isn't living right, then that carries over into your diet.
here's the thing: when a chicken is caged and not allowed to move, and that chicken is constantly stressed, yes, it will affect the food. But if the chickens are raised correctly, in which I buy pasture-raised eggs, those chickens are allowed to roam the yard, and they're not full of stress, which means they're going to produce better eggs, which means better health for me. That's why I buy pasture-raised eggs, so I want to support those companies that support the
healthy standards of these animals.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing.
I'm gonna I'm gonna jump off on this, but I literally did a discussion post for one of my college classes today, yesterday. It was on a specific brand of a specific brand, and like I was supposed to talk about like why this brand is this way, and so I was talking about the specific grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and I was telling them why this is better than most brands out there, because of that they let these animals roam, and they do all this stuff. And I had a whole bunch of people comment wow, and they were like,
was
wow,
it people just venting? Because people love to give their opinion.
Yeah, people were like, wow, I never thought about it that way. I never actually thought about this, that. And I was like,
well,
because you have never opened your mind to it.
It's responses like that is why we do this today.
Reading.
Wow, I never thought I would hear that. And wow, I wish I'd known this years ago. Right. Wow, what you said really got to me. Those kind of responses that I get fuels me even more to do stuff like this.
People, I mean,
but you're also
going to have
the
misinformation
negative.
too,
yeah,
man.
That's
out
true.
there.
Well, the fucking internet is full of misinformation.
You know. I'll tell you something though. I don't think you guys should call what you're doing a diet.
I don't.
Right.
I would say it's more of a lifestyle.
Right. Because diets don't work.
That's what I say.
Well, diet means temporary.
Right. Well. Yeah. I guess the way you mean it, like you could say, "This is my diet." Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
like,
but
this
the
is what I
term,
eat.
I'm gonna go on this diet, a fad diet.
That shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like anytime somebody tells me they're about to go on a diet, I say, "Don't. Just you're gonna have to change your whole life. You can't go on a diet." Like, look at Oprah. She's been doing this. What's the Weight Watchers thing for years?
Oh God, I hate Weight Watchers. I hate them,
bro.
Weight Watchers is a failed company.
Whether or not Oprah is fat depends on the day of the week. All right, like I've seen Oprah look like good for an older lady, and then I've seen Oprah look like she couldn't fit through a doorway. You know what I mean? Like it's that diets don't work. Diets do not work. Like those Weight Watchers meals. I mean, you could watch your own weight.
That's more of like
you know what I mean? Why do you need somebody to present you meals? You know what I mean?
It's not just about calories.
Eat what you know is right. You know what I mean?
And that's also a thing, like what you were trying to say. People don't understand that it's not just about calories.
It's about your hormones.
And it's not about calories in, calories out either. It's about...
Not completely.
It's about what's in those calories that actually matter.
Right.
And
that's something I need to learn. Because I'm always trying to like... maybe bulk up a little bit. You know what I mean? I swear, bro. My weight has only fluctuated about 10 to 15 pounds since high school. And I've always been trying to put on more weight. You know what I mean? Not that I need it, because being skinny is good for your heart. You know what I mean? Like being a thin person is good for your heart. You know, that's why fat people die in their 50s.
Well, yeah, or people are celebrating obesity now, and it's like, no,
yeah, like the whole Lizzo thing. Like everybody is like, oh, she's so empowering. Like that's great and everything, but at the same time, do you know what's even more empowering? Being healthy. Like, feeling good, not feeling like shit, not having to struggle to reach your feet,
Well,
praise upon her, like, setting...
No, that's cool. It is.
Trying to put up her,
the positive message, I see that.
Yeah.
I understood Jillian Michaels, though. Did you see Jillian Michaels go off on her?
She hates the keto.
Really?
No, well, Jillian Michaels went off on her, but Lizzo said, no, she said that that shouldn't be, like, idolized, that body or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, obviously,
it's being unhealthy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be unhealthy and say, "Oh, wow."
You probably shouldn't have said something like that. Like, she probably should not have said something
like
that.
Maybe.
That was probably
she kept it up though. I like Jillian Michaels for the same reason that I like Greta Thunberg. She's not afraid to piss somebody off, and she'll keep that post up. You know what I mean? She won't remove that thing.
So, Steve, there are some people like Trump, like Greta Thunberg, who will say what they got to say, and then there will be a lot of others who refuse to say what's really on their mind because they're afraid of the reactions. Right?
I mean,
the internet has brought out those people that don't care what they say.
You remember how I was talking about the thing with Elon Musk?
Yeah.
That's why he can say anything he wants, because he doesn't have a higher up. He doesn't have to answer.
He is.
Yeah, he doesn't have to answer to anybody. He'll just go to the board meeting and be like, all right, all of you shut up, or you're all
fired.
You're all going to lose your funding, and that's it. It's over. I'm going to walk away with this company and call it something else tomorrow. But, like, that's the only reason.
He's a really smart guy, man.
Oh, yeah. But then again, I don't know what he does, but... you know how he was smoking weed on
Joe Rogan podcast?
Right. Some of the stuff he posts, I'm like, how was this guy not high when he posted it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, whatever. But some people live in a bubble, in a vacuum. You can't live in a vacuum, otherwise you're just gonna be completely disillusioned and out of touch and completely unaware of everything around you.
I don't know, man. I think everyone has a message. Everyone has a brand. Everyone has some kind of thing they want to say. The question is, will you say it, and what do you expect of the results of what you say?
Well, what do you guys think about just this what do you guys think about the Lizzo thing? Can you even empower somebody, or are you just gonna be like by default like, nah, that's not good for your heart? You know
I do believe in being the best version of yourself, but is being overweight the best version of yourself? And is it okay to say that it's the best version of yourself when it might just not be, right?
Yeah, I agree with that because I respect someone for trying to be empowering, especially being an overweight person. Like they want that, if that's the life that they want to be, that's fine. But it's another thing when you try to tell people that they should be. I'm overweight and it's okay, so you can be overweight. No. I don't want to tell anyone ever being overweight is okay. Why would you want to know? I don't want to tell anyone be unhealthy. It's okay. If you can't help that, like if there's a specific condition where you cannot get skinny other than through medical ways, which is a lot of money and stuff. But if you can't help it, then you shouldn't be telling everyone to be that way. You should be telling everybody that they can be encouraging people to like. Well, let me put it to you like this: when you look at somebody like Lizzo, a big part of like be proud of who you are and all that is just laziness. Yeah. It's like I'm proud of who I am, which is actually translation for I'd rather not work to make it better. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I mean, I guess you could call that positive. You know what I mean? Imagine if nobody worked on themselves and just was like, hey, I'm an asshole, but that's all right. I'm not going to try and be nicer to people. You know what I mean? Like, well, isn't that... Seriously, people who are obese die in their 50s usually. Like, that's the average age for people who are severely obese or really overweight. They die in their 50s. That's a lot. That's true. It's funny because... Or like 61, 62, something like that. Like that's just one of those things. Like I have a family member who recently died. He was really overweight. He died before his time. He died before his father did. Really? Yeah. So because of how overweight he was. So the thing is, it's just like people don't want to face reality sometimes. No, they just would rather call something a tragedy when in reality it was really it was really stoppable. You know what I mean? It was.
Well, it's like when you smoke cigarettes for like 70 years, right? And then you get lung cancer, and you're like, "How could this have happened?"
Yeah. I wonder how this could have happened. I hope anybody who smokes cigarettes decides to quit, not because of secondhand smoke or looking good, but just we only got one body, we only got one life to live, we only have so many days on this planet, and I don't want to lose one of them. You know what I mean? There's no reason to. Life is great. Life is awesome.
I agree. That's what we're trying to say. Yeah.
Because we don't know what's gonna happen when we pass through. We don't know what's gonna happen.
You need to live every day as if as if it was your last. And
I agree with that.
It's so important to remember that. It's very, very important.
A big excuse is I love cigarettes. They say that. They'll say I love cigarettes. Like, I've never smoked.
I love living.
Yeah. But they'll say, like, I have a friend who smokes heavily, and I tell him every day, I'm like, dude, why don't you want to quit? He goes, because I fucking love it. I fucking love these things. And the thing is, like, when he gets drunk, he'll smoke, like, 4 or 5 in an hour. You know what I mean? Like, back to back. Like, he'll forget that he even just smoked one because it's just keep it moving. Yeah. Another thing, too, about cigarettes is... I've told people this before, and I think that this is something that people should take away, is it's an adult pacifier. That's what a cigarette is. It's an adult pacifier. It's a lack of self-control for this oral fixation, and instead of a baba, you bring the cigarette up to your mouth every time something's not going your way. People don't want to face that, though.
And you notice that like when they try to quit, they replace that with eating.
Yeah, I know. They say cigarettes cause people to lose weight, but I think that has more to do with what you're talking about. Instead of putting food in their mouth, they're going to put the cigarette up to their mouth. I don't know if it's so much chemical or if it's psychological, you know what I mean?
They eat less and they smoke more, and then when they're not smoking, they're eating more, which then makes them, and they're not eating good stuff because they spent all their money on the cigarettes.
I just think it's crazy that we're going to lose vaping products. in favor of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if there
that's
was
a little-
ever a proof that the general public is stupid as fuck, is that the fact that they let that shit happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right. It is weird.
And you know what's funny? I know the people have been trying to get rid of menthol cigarettes for decades.
Yeah.
And they're never gonna let that slide. The people who make Newport will never let that fucking shit slide.
I heard it's equivalent to like fiberglass or something
Some
like that.
shit, yeah.
Well, so many businesses make money off people's addictions. This is just fact. This is why sugar companies are so successful. This is why McDonald's, this is why Wendy's, why all these fast food companies are so successful, because they got you hooked on their shit and they know it. And they're going to put it right in your face and going to put it on every store.
I had a roommate one time that refused to eat certain candies and drinks because of the red dye and like the blue dye, and
He might have some...
and said that it caused cancer and was cancer causing. Do you guys have any knowledge of that? Because there was this, I swear, he said it with a straight face, and then I did research, and there were like studies, but like...
There's always a study of something.
Right. But it's like, first off, how much candy do you have to eat in your life to get cancer from it? First off, I'm not going to eat anything with red dye that much.
It's like
I love water, by the way. I love
water. I love water too. I love black coffee.
Yeah?
Colombian, black coffee ever, by the way.
Water's my favorite drink, though.
That's all I drink.
Water's so refreshing, man. Like, when I drink soda,
Where's the water?
You immediately feel that shit slow you down. You feel it.
Water's amazing. What are you looking
the
for?
water.
It's
I
heavy,
don't know what you did
too.
with it.
Oh my
I
god.
gave it to you. Oh, why are you so terrible?
Oh, I think I took one of his.
Oh, thanks.
Here you go. No, I don't. Here.
I was like,
I don't have any cooties. But you know what's crazy too is the thing with, like, I was actually this is a true story, man. I was getting kidney stones when I was younger, like around 19 or 20, and I had to get a whole thing called a lithotripsy done to break them up and everything. Oof. That was a wake up call. I was like, because they said it's either tap water or soda or a combination of both. Do you know what I mean? That's what causes it. The minerals in the tap water collecting in me, and then the soda has all kinds of crap. At the time, I was so addicted to root beer and cream soda.
It's because of the sugar.
Right, all this stuff.
Sugar.
I'm not. When I tell you that I have not bought a 2 liter of soda since I was 19, I'm not kidding.
Me neither.
I'm 29 now, so that's 10 years without ever buying a 2 liter of soda. And if I did buy a 2 liter of soda, it was to mix with some alcohol with my friends. I don't drink soda anymore. Like,
me neither. I don't either.
Like, my body is, that's it. This is my temple. You know what I mean? Like, when they told me that you got to stop drinking tap water, okay, we put a filter on the thing and stop drinking soda, I don't touch it, you know, unless I need some energy or caffeine.
Once you're out of that kind of addiction, it just goes away. So
and now my body just loves water. Like, I drink soda and immediately
I've
like
drank water for 23 years.
Yeah, water's great.
Haven't we all? I hope.
No, but only water.
You don't like soda at all?
No,
he doesn't drink coffee, soda.
I don't like coffee either. I don't like any hot drinks, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, I can't stand hot drinks. I can't.
I like soup, but I don't like hot drinks. I'll sip on some soup, but I'm not gonna drink a hot drink.
The only thing that I'll drink that's hot would be like chicken broth.
That's
the only thing that's hot that I would drink.
Chicken broth is good.
You guys are so healthy.
But like, no, but
you're
like,
just so healthy. I can't do this.
It's crazy because it's a mental thing.
Chicken broth. What the hell is that?
I'm going back to Taco Bell.
Chicken broth. That sounds like something, I don't know.
Let's go to Taco Bell.
Vomited out of a chicken's mouth. No.
It's a mental thing, right? So, because like, you know, when you're a kid and you only drink milk.
Yeah, I guess
they make you drink milk and stuff.
My mom hated that I didn't like milk that much, but yeah, I get you.
See, I loved drinking milk when I was a kid, right? And then when they took the milk away, and like I was allowed to drink whatever, I was so mad because all I wanted to drink was milk. So I was like, you know what? Fuck your shit. I'm gonna drink water now.
Right.
And that's all I've drinking ever since.
You know what? Milk, I don't know why, but I was never a fan of milk as a kid, though. Like, my mom would be like, why don't you want to drink milk? You have to take vitamins. Your bones are going to be...
We don't need milk.
Yeah, mind you, I've never broken a bone. I've never had a cavity, but, you know, yeah. Knock on wood. Hey, I love when people... Yo, I got to say one more thing, too, about health, actually. I love when I tell people that I haven't had a cold in 3 years, which is true. I haven't had a cold in 3 years.
I haven't thrown up in a long time.
Because and somebody told me that it might be because of all the fitness I do to get to and from work. You know what I mean? Like all the biking and stuff. That my core temperature stays high and that nothing can breed in there. Yeah. So I haven't had a cold in 3 years. I've never had a cavity. I've never broken a bone. And everybody's answer always is, "Oh, you just jinxed yourself." Health is not good luck.
Yeah.
Health is what you make it.
Yeah, health.
But I mean, there is bacteria and stuff. But you know, I mean,
your body's gonna treat you the way you treat it, though.
That's right.
That's the thing. Health is not good luck, and the fact that people think that that my health is good because of good luck shows how fucking whacked out.
You're just a lucky guy.
How fucking stupid do you have to be to think that health comes from like watching Harry Potter movies or something? Like, I just don't even know. I don't understand. It's not good luck. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not fantasy. It's how you treat your body. You know what I mean? Like,
and like it's so funny because like people get sick. But like all you can do is, and it's things that are so simple. Like after I say this, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's fucking, that's so dumb that you just said that." But like, I used to always get sick, right? I used to always get like strep throat. But
me
that's
too.
Because
I had to get my tonsils removed because
I haven't yet. But I would get it like once maybe twice a year, like at the end, like beginning and the end of the year. But the thing is now is that I realize is that the reason why I do that. I get that is because I would not let everything out. I'd keep it in because I don't want it, here. You know what I mean? I don't want like, the boogers and all the shit like coming out. I want to keep it in so then I can do it later. But no, you should be doing it as soon as you feel it.
Right.
And you let that shit out and you won't get sick. You won't get that
Getting your tonsils removed sucks. I heard it sucks more when you're an adult. I had it done when I was a kid.
I fucking hope I'll never have to deal with that.
You'll never get strep throat again though. I've never had strep throat since I got him.
Well, yeah, because the shit gets stuck right there.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know what the reason was.
You get tonsillitis and then they take out the tonsils. That's why.
They were trying to give me ice cream afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Like, here, this is what you'll love. And
here's some sugar.
I ate the ice cream and was like, oh, what the fuck you doing, bitch?
They say that you should be eating ice cream after.
Well,
that shit hurt.
Here's a question: how come at your job at those like Christmas parties, why is there so much sugary treats? Why is there so much pizza? Why is all that dopamine spiking, good tasting food brought to you? Think about it, man. You're in a stressful environment. They want you to have some delicious, shitty food for your system. You're gonna get that 5 minutes of pleasure, and then an hour later, like, how could I have?
I like why? I do like some junk food. See,
who doesn't, right?
You know what's? It's funny too because it's easier for me to say because I just don't put on weight. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I feel like I'm probably screwing myself up just as badly when I eat unhealthy food as somebody who's probably like 50 pounds heavier than me, even though it doesn't put on weight. Do you get what I mean? Like, like that's why my body reacts to it so hard. And then I need to eat that salad for 3 straight days after having Taco Bell and getting drunk on the weekend or whatever. It's like I might not be fat, but my body is still reacting to it. You know what I mean?
Well,
it still does not like that shit.
Well, it's not just weight and stuff. It's also gut issues. A lot of people are developing gut issues due to the food they eat and horrible foods.
So wait, we were originally talking about sensitivity, right? Oh yeah, I keep taking his drink. What the fuck? Here, do what I did. Put it under here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's just like my inclination. I don't know. It's like a nervous tick, I guess. But yeah, you know what the thing is? It's like the sensitivity with the Lizzo thing. Come on, man. What are they sensitive about? What are they sensitive about?
Their weight.
Yeah. Like that's your problem.
Do something about it. Oh, I don't want to. Too much work. Well,
don't complain about it.
Yeah. Right.
Don't complain about it.
You know what?
If you don't want to put the work, then just don't.
Don't
get offended if you're not going to put in the work.
Do something.
And you know what the thing is too? It's like you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your kids, if you have any. You're doing it for your family members. You're gonna live longer. You're gonna live a more fruitful life. You know, there's nothing to be offended about.
Also, if you're more healthier, you're naturally gonna be more happier, and you're gonna spread better vibes, right? You're gonna be more.
I agree with that.
More good moods.
Yeah, other than me at work,
fat people are mean for the most part.
Other than me being at work, I'm usually very positive about things. Like when I'm at work, it's completely different. But like other than that, I'm usually very positive. I always, I'm always trying to be, Do
you work with the public?
Yeah, I work in retail.
Okay. Well, see, I work with the public too.
He works in a similar company to us.
Okay, I gotta keep my mood up. Like I gotta.
Yeah.
That's why people.
Because I work in like a store, so like they have music playing, and so every time I hear a song that at least is not gutturally bad, I just try to like have some fun, dance around,
do anything to get the mood better. Yeah.
To make me feel better because I just feel really low.
That's that's proof that sometimes I don't care about what people think is dancing. I like to dance a lot too, and it's funny because people get very self-conscious about that. Yeah. I saw a meme the other day, and it showed 1976, the club, and it's people dancing, and then it says 2019, and it's people staring at their phones. You know what I mean? Like they showed the difference, and it's like social media, the sensitivity shit, all this like like super awareness, like, oh, I don't want him to see me not acting cool, bro. You know what I mean? I don't want him to think that I'm a loser. Like, people have just lost all fun in so many things. You go to the club and people are staring at each other and at their phones.
Or
nobody's even having fun.
Or they're fucking each other with their clothes on. I've seen that too. That's just weird.
Well, you've
been to the bars, right?
It's just odd to me that, like, that's the weirdest thing about this generation is how not fun it is. Like, how
nobody's fun anymore.
Right? They're not fun. They're not. Like, the further we get away from the 90s, I feel like the less fun things are, because people are just so fucking afraid to not be cool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. People don't want to be themselves. Like, I think that's why alcohol, when people get drunk, it brings out different sides, right? I think alcohol kind of amplifies different things, right?
So if sometimes the bad stuff only.
Well, yeah. Well, if
depending
you're
on the person or the
for
alcohol.
some people, if you're a quiet person, you have too much to drink, you may become the loudest person in the room. I think everyone
always great. I love when that happens.
Everyone has an inner them that they're not telling you about, right? Kind of.
Sometimes,
some people do.
I
Not
think
everybody.
So.
You know, I think authenticity comes out at weird points.
No, yeah. Alcohol is bad.
Yeah, let's just say alcohol's bad.
I just had a drink, so I can't say anything, but alcohol is just like, it makes people act so fucking dumb. I've seen so much stupid shit happen from alcohol.
It alters the brain. Well, the liver just gets destroyed every time.
Right, but I mean, like, the
Especially
way people are reduced to, like, stupidity sometimes. And then you'll see somebody who's normally just very, like, reasonable, just have no reason at all. And you're just, like, holding them as they're falling over and, like, doing dumb stuff and starting fights with people, and you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Chill out.
I like the happy drunks, just to like, because I'm one of those. You know what? I'm one of those.
The alcohol matters too, though. People don't realize that, but, like, there's grain alcohol. There's this that's made with yeast. There's this that's made with, what is tequila made with? I forgot. I don't drink tequila, but whatever makes it makes me amped. I get amped as hell.
Well, I know whiskey is made,
and it doesn't even have, like, sugar like that. Like, it's just like one liquor will make me kind of like
different liquors, have different
like
side
chill,
effects.
And everybody's. That's interesting, though. Agave. Okay, so it's like cactus, pretty much.
Blue agave.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, that like different liquors will bring different reactions out of people. You know what I mean? Like beer. I've seen dudes that will drink beer and they're like this. And then they'll drink a different kind of liquor and they're ready to punch holes in walls.
Yeah, like some people react different to whiskey than they do vodka, or different to beer.
It's all different. Yeah. It's all different. They're all different chemical makeups. It's not all built equal. Kind of like how you guys were talking about how calories aren't all the same calories. Yeah. It's the same thing with alcohol. Just because it's alcohol.
Well, some alcohol even has more calories than others. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it all depends on how they make it.
Beer, I think, is the highest, isn't it? Because all the yeast.
I think so.
Beer is worse because it's just carbs and shitty carbs and estrogen. The estrogen effects of beer.
Ooh, I didn't know it had estrogen.
Yeah.
So wait,
I'm sure estrogen and low.
Dudes who drink a lot of beer can like
become higher their estrogen
pussified
levels.
Essentially, you're saying?
I
never heard that. That's wild.
Well,
it could be proven.
That's why. That's why the term beer belly is basically because beer is just a bunch of carbs, and when you just chug beers, you get the beer belly because you get your insulin.
As women get older, their estrogen levels go down, and as men get older, their testosterone levels go down, and then it starts like reversing.
My theory is that there's a big shift, and I think that a lot of the foods trying to make men kind of like weaker, and it's working.
What?
That's my opinion. I think soy is one of the culprits. One of the culprits. Soy and processed foods. Yeah.
Soy milk is actually pretty tasty. I don't eat soy. Actually, one time I had soy and it was like drinking a cube. It was like eating a cube of nothingness.
Yeah.
Like it was this little cube of soy. I ate it and I thought it would at least have some flavor like cheese or something. And it was just like, oh, what the fuck was that?
Well, that's where the term soy boy comes from. You ever heard that term?
No.
Soy boy. It's like basically a pussified.
You guys come from the workout world.
Well, it's basically like, I think it's a term for like a pussified guy. So like
all gains.
We only all gains.
Wait, we all gains. You got to do it the right way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Guy. It's like, what is it, Mike?
You guys, and let me plug it for you so you guys don't do it. What's the website where they can get All Gains clothes?
Allgainsapparel.com.
Allgainsapparel.com.
Use code podcast10 to get 10% off your order. Just saying.
Say that one more time.
Use podcast10 on checkout to get a 10%.
All right.
And if you get
By the way,
if you get a hoodie like this one where you can get your name on it and shit, and the logo on the back, you'll get free shipping
These are very
automatically.
Dude, I'm
Yeah.
not even lying when I say
Podcast 10.
Use podcast 10 for 10% off.
Got you.
these are
These are
very
young
comfortable.
entrepreneurs, guys.
Holy fucking shit! That this is actually super comfortable. And this.
I'm not even lying.
This
Like,
is,
dude,
this is
feel
a
it,
workout
like,
hoodie.
Yeah, I'll fuck with
super
it.
comfortable.
This is a hoodie you wear.
They'll
to the
laugh
gym.
at me though in that hoodie. They'll be like, "Where are the gains at?"
Let them think. Let them think what they want, man. You ain't gonna get
You
offended
mean
now.
no
are you?
gains?
You're not gonna get offended now, are you?
No. Ooh, you hurt my feelings, man.
Ow, my little old heart.
Nah.
No, but like
You
this,
and Greta Thunberg.
like this is a workout hoodie. So like this, like the hood is very thin, right? And it's supposed to keep you. It's supposed to keep you from getting overheated while you're at
It's
the gym
thin.
and shit.
Yeah, and then this one is
And
just
this
a comfy one.
and this one's very thick, so like
That's cool.
you know you wear this during the wintertime. You wear this
Right.
one going into spring.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
like I wear this shit all the time. I love it.
That's crazy though. It's good stuff.
Yeah, the more you
No,
know.
you guys
Feels-
should be proud of
It
that.
feels fucking amazing.
You guys should be proud of that though, for real.
I just think that we need to always try to becoming better versions of ourselves, and to do that is taking a risk.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it's hard too. It's not easy.
on the journey that you go on, you're gonna piss a lot of people off, and sometimes it's actually very worth it. You will upset people, but at the same time, you will change people's lives in different ways you never thought you could. Which is one of the reasons that we do what we do.
Yeah.
You never know when someone out there, anyone from around the world, will hear what you say, and it might spark something in their brain that triggers them to change their life.
Yeah, I mean,
I've had those moments myself.
you attract more bees with honey than you do with vinegar, they say. So, you know, the more positive you are, the more positivity you receive.
It's also about discipline. I think if okay, let's say you're a personal trainer and you're fat or something, are they gonna listen to you?
No, hell no.
I think you need to be the
Unless
example.
you're trying to become fat.
Well, if you really want to spread that message, I think you need to be the miracle, right? You need to set the example, because people who are on the same mission as you will follow you if you're setting the example. If I were to just go eat pizza right now and I'm, you stop eating carbs and stop eating sugar, and if I just go eat pizza after this, that defeats everything, and I'm gonna look like an idiot,
Right.
So I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna eat some steak, all right? Because that's what ketoers eat, you know. So it's like, you want to set the example, right? We do this. We're not getting paid for this right now. We're just here because we're grinding. We're trying to spread something, and we're not.
Spread a message.
We're not. It's not always about the money. Sometimes it's about. It's about more.
It's about more than that. It's about, you know, helping people. Be their better self.
Were you heavier too?
Yeah.
Really?
I was.
Yeah,
I
share your
okay, so
success
here's
story.
my story. So I was a person that did sports. So I fluctuated with weight depending on when I was doing sport.
Gotcha.
And so when because when I was very little, I had done like basketball, baseball, soccer, right? And I got rid of soccer, and then it was just basketball and baseball. And so like basketball was in the winter, and baseball was in the summer. So like in between, I would gain weight because I wouldn't be doing it. And I also did martial arts.
Were you naturally heavy?
No, it was more of like
Your build's pretty big.
upper average.
Right.
Upper
okay.
average. So like I wasn't skinny, but I wasn't fat.
Right.
Right, and so like I was in the middle. I was somewhere in the middle. Jesus Christ! Oh, that's what happens at keto too. But anyway,
I thought you.
he literally has to keep going to the bathroom.
He's got a whiz all the time.
Yeah,
I thought he only had to shit once a day. He's just got a whiz.
but he just got to. Yeah, that happens.
What's in the keto that makes you whiz?
Because your bladder doesn't have any carbohydrates to hold in your pee.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I got you. No, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so so when I was a child, you know, I would be doing sports and stuff, and then I would eventually, as I got older, I got rid of sports. I got rid of specific sports, and I had done martial arts from like first grade until like senior year of high school, and like that was always happening. But I would never be able to maintain the same weight. I would always fluctuate between being heavy and being skinny. And so then when I finally got rid of baseball, I was only doing martial arts. And so around that time I got skinnier. And especially in high school I was in that range of being skinny and being fat. Like freshman year I was super skinny. Super skinny, like twig. Like skinnier than you skinny. Right? And then sophomore year I got a little bit bigger. Junior year mixed around. Senior year I was at a decent weight.
Right.
But like
I'm only like 155 to 160 pounds.
I was in senior year. I was 155 pounds.
Okay.
155 senior year. But for me, I'm kind of short kid. I'm like 5'6", 5'7", right? So like being 155 not any real muscle,
right?
Not any like legit muscle, they would say that's overweight, right?
Right.
And I wouldn't be eating right because I'm not really eating right.
Believe it or not, I'm in weight, but at the bottom, like I'm on the low end, like you know what I mean. Like my weight's supposed to be like 155 to 175, and I'm like 160. You know what I mean? Like
I've never been on the lower side, but I've never been ever on the lower side of my geographic, or demographic, I should say. But when I got out of high school, right, is when it fluctuated in the opposite direction. I started to get fat. And that was because we would go to TGI Fridays all the time, and when they had the endless apps for $10, we would always go there, and I always get like 6 plates of mozzarella sticks.
I love the Sesame Jack chicken.
That's when they had that's when they had the full plates too. When they had like all 6 of them on the plate, and so I would just be I'd be eating what was 36 freaking mozzarella sticks at a time, or I'd go to McDonald's with them on a random day.
You didn't look like you were ever fat.
Dude, I was.
Fat?
Senior year.
Then you deleted all those pictures.
Some of them still there, but I deleted some.
Senior year of high school, we would have the same lunch together, right? And so I wouldn't see him until I sat down, but I would go in my line, I'd get pizza, I'd get a milk for him, and then I would go and get whatever else I needed, go sit down, and I'd go eat my pizza, and here's Andrew sitting down with whatever he had, his cookies and whatever he can get.
Calling you out on the cookies, dang.
Get whatever he can get, and I wouldn't look at him. He would literally be across from me, and I wouldn't be looking at him. And then once I got to the end of my pizza and got to the crust, I would look up, and then here he is staring into my soul, waiting for me to finish my pizza so he can eat my crust. And then he would take my crust and then eat it.
Yeah, well.
And then he would go and get more cookies.
Let me ask you something: is being skinny unhealthy? Like, I'm not skinny, I guess, but I'm like 155 to 160.
I think being skinny fat might be, that term might be unhealthy.
What do you mean?
Skinny fat is like when you're skinny, but you got that gut, right?
And
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, my health is incredible. Like, I told you, I haven't had a cold in 3 years, bro. I don't even remember what it feels like. I'm scared to get a cold because it's going to hit me like a fucking ton of bricks. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be that bad. Like, people act like being skinny is like a problem or something, but I don't.
I think when you're anorexic, I think you might need to eat some meat.
If you don't eat at all.
Oh, yeah.
You got to eat.
Because I'm never out of breath or like,
You don't smoke, right?
No, I don't smoke. I mean, cigarettes.
Well, I think like being skinny is not a bad thing.
No,
but I will. No matter what weight you are, you should be eating healthy foods.
Right.
That's something
I definitely need to work on that. Like, I have no desire actually to put on weight. I would like to get like ripped. You know what I mean? Like cut. But like I said, I would have to put on at least like 10 pounds of muscle with that to get it built. You know what I mean? Like, I can get cut. I'll work out for a couple months or a couple weeks, and immediately, because I have like no body fat, it's just like, you know what I mean? I get immediate cut. Like, I start getting those definitions, but it's just like, I'm just so lazy. I don't keep up with it. I'm just like, nah. Especially if I get a girlfriend.
Today. That's why we go in the morning. That's why we actually go in the morning, because if we go later, you'll have less motivation.
Mike, what time did we go to the gym on Thursday morning before I went to work?
5:30.
Yeah, we went to work before I had work 7 to 4.
I woke up at 4:50 to go to the gym.
I had work 7 to 4, and before that, I went to the gym with him.
Nah. I have the day off tomorrow. I'm probably gonna sleep until like noon or something.
Sounds great.
I work 1 to 10 every day, but I go to the gym early in the morning, and I go to bed at like 12. Like, I don't get enough sleep. I'm gonna say that right now. I do not get enough sleep.
That's his weakness.
For me. That is my weakness. That is my number one weakness. I do not get
video games or something.
No, it's because like I'll get home at like, I get out at 10, right? I won't get home till like 11:30, or if I'm staying at my girlfriend's house, I won't get there till like 11:30 midnight, right? And then I just don't go to sleep until maybe a half hour later. But if I hit that bed, I fucking done.
You know, it's interesting. They say
but I wake up.
Blue light is screwing up people's sleep. You know what I'm talking
about?
Blue light. Yeah, like from TVs and their phones. They say that insomnia is like at an all-time high right now because of how often people are just staring at their phones and
looking at phones and shit.
That blue light's just like fucking their head up. I don't know what the science is behind it, but
I
remember I told you about the roommate that didn't eat any of the red shit? He also wore blue light glasses. It was just like never ending weird shit with this guy. But you know what? For all I know, he was probably better off for it. But he got sick more than I did because I wasn't sick. But the thing was, like, yeah, he like. I one time came in and he had these big fucking weird goggles things on. I'm just like, what are those, bro? He goes, it filters out the blue light. It helps with your sleep and it stops insomnia and corneal damage and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, okay, bro.
You know,
I'm gonna go blast my metal music. I'll be back.
There was a time when I had pretty much had insomnia for like a month because I was like in a very depressive state, but like I wouldn't be looking at my phone. Like I would be in darkness. I would literally put my room into darkness, and I still wouldn't be able to sleep.
Oh man, you know
what?
And
then I wouldn't want to sleep because of the things that would happen when I would sleep.
I actually work the opposite. When I'm depressed, like it doesn't happen often, but if I go through some kind of bout of depression, all I want to do is sleep. I don't even want to leave bed.
But that's the problem. That was the problem with me. Like I would want to go to sleep, but the things that would happen in my dreams and in my nightmares when I would sleep would prevent me from wanting to go to sleep because I don't want that to happen. Right. I don't want to see those things. I don't want.
That's
those
crazy.
Things to happen.
I don't even have dreams like that. I wish.
Think about that.
Not nightmares.
Think about someone that's so depressed that all they want to do is sleep, but they can't because of the things that would happen to them if they go to bed.
Really?
That is fucked.
Yeah, that is.
That is some fucked shit.
I don't have that many vivid dreams. I used to. I think. I don't know.
I really can't. Yeah, I really can't with that. But yeah, pretty much. I was fat at one point, and I actually couldn't breathe. I was actually having problems breathing.
And you guys got healthy together, pretty much.
He started. Yeah,
I started the trend.
This like what, a year before me?
Yeah.
Or like 8 months before me, and then he told me to do it. And like I like in my life, I loved eating steak, and I loved having butter on.
I told him the positives of it. Yeah. Right.
And so I was like, I'll just do it and just eat those because that's all I like. I'm very picky on the things I eat. So if I just eat those, I'll be fine. Like I don't even eat vegetables, even though I probably should. And everyone says I should. Yes, I know I should. The thing is I don't like a lot of these vegetables because I'm very picky. I will eat them if I have to. If it's there, I'll do it. Right. But like I choose not to. And like
I like my vegetables deep fried with Chinese food and soy sauce.
That might not be the best option. Might not be the healthiest.
I like my broccoli to taste like soy sauce.
Get rid of that soy, bro. Get that estrogen out of here. Okay. Yeah, there's basically there's like studies.
So the soy sauce is bad. So you don't like soy sauce because of soy either.
Soy.
Yeah. You don't like soy?
Nah, man. Soy.
What is soy? I don't. You know, it's funny. I say the word, but I don't fucking know what it really is.
I want to bring a professional term for you, Mike. Bring it up on the.
What?
Bring up the word soy. Oh, okay.
Kind of like how I know tequila, but
yeah, Mike. What is it?
But I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah, overview.
Overview information. Soy comes from soybeans.
Soybeans.
The beans can be processed into soy protein, which is a powder. Soy milk, which is a beverage that may or may not be fortified with extra calcium from the soybeans or soy fiber, which contains some of the fibrous parts of the bean. The boiled or roasted beans can also be eaten. Soy is sometimes used as milk substitute. Blah blah blah. Taken by mouth or put in skin as medicine. Used for high cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, symptoms of menopause.
Now, what you got against it?
Wait, it's coming.
The active ingredients of soy are called isoflavones. A study of the quality of commercially available soy supplements suggests that less than 25% of products contain the amount that is stated on the label. Paying more for a product doesn't necessarily guarantee that the content shown on the label is accurate.
The last part.
How does it work? Soy contains isoflavones, which are changed in the body to this is a very weird word, but phytoestrogens.
Estrogens.
Which are similar to the hormone estrogen.
Now, soy basically mimics estrogen in the body, which is not good for males. That's my beef with soy right there.
Now, were you taught this, or you just did research?
I found out research. Oh, fuck. Research.
This is all based on research.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. So the more soy you eat, the less of a man you become.
That's the concept.
You're gonna grow movies
deeper than that. In a broader, more simplified way, that is soy, possibly true.
Soy is just something
like an 85% true.
Soy is just something that you can avoid to live a better life. Well, potentially.
For men.
They
For
say
men,
they say
For
that
at
male enhancement pills are an all-time high right now. So
Should you be having to take a pill to improve your life? Dude?
nah,
Think
definitely
about
not.
that, man. Come on, man.
I hope
Did they
I
have
never get to
pills
that point.
in the 1600s? Did they have little pills? No.
No, but they also.
Did you take ibuprofen if you have a headache?
You don't want to get me down that.
I just think that natural foods that's the medicine, man. Food is the medicine. Good, healthy
Good food,
foods.
yeah.
That's the medicine, dude. That's what we've had. That's what we've been given. Medicine is basically a recent, of herbs and stuff, but
Right.
once again, from the earth. All this manufactured pills, man, it's all business, dude.
No, you're right.
It's all these companies,
Everything's a
man, trying to
business.
sell you something.
Right.
Sell me on grass-fed beef, man. Sell me on food. Good food, not Taco Bell. Sell me on real food.
Whoa. 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 Nah. I know it's bad.
Those be
Please.
fighting words.
Have you seen the people that work there? I know it's bad. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, here we go.
Oh, boy.
No, I'm just joking.
Everybody's triggered
I'm
now.
kidding. I'm
Demonetized.
joking.
Demonetized immediately.
Demonetized.
I'm just kidding, guys. I love all of you. But you know what? I have not gone to a Taco Bell that keeps the same employees from 1 week to the next.
Well,
And
maybe
they
you
must
should
not be paying
Well,
well.
maybe you should ask yourself, why is that happening? And think about that for a little bit.
They probably don't pay well enough.
Maybe
for
there's
that
more.
for the heavy work.
There could also be more.
Yeah.
I think that everyone
love Taco Bell.
everyone listening to this should question everything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You got to question everything.
Ask why. In fact, question yourself. Why am I doing this? What in my brain is making me do this? I think we should be more logical.
Some people that look at
We should try to be more logical.
some people that look at people talking things out like this think it's corny because their brain just doesn't have a lot bouncing around in it.
Wasn't this kind of how we learn? By communicating?
Right, I agree. And you have to question things. Some people are like, I don't want to. And then, they're facing cigarettes 8 times an hour, or like they'll say, I don't want to question things. And then they accidentally commit some kind of crime or something. Like, you got to question things. You got to research, it's good. I don't know. It's just laziness, though.
I think it's good to research at least human biology. I think we should understand humans better. Why we do things, right? I mean,
Yeah. That's
I like
the
to
purpose
know-
of humans is like
we're
I feel like the
problem
purpose of us
solvers.
are to question. Like the best. Like,
We're given brains
people,
for a reason.
Like the best people in the world always question things.
right.
They always question why things are.
They
this
think
way,
outside
and
the
they
box.
Research and
They use critical thinking as a tool, right? I think
I don't think anyone ever critically thinks about anything.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that way.
nowadays.
I just think it's we should really think about why things are happening the way they are. We should be a little analytical. Why am I always eating these horrible foods for me? Why am I so addicted to these things? Why are people around me so miserable all the time? What is going on around me?
Food has a big part
Yes,
of
it
that.
does.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's just there's so many things though. Why is this happening? I think the more we question that kind of stuff, we find answers because we have the power of the internet. We can find so many answers
Yeah.
that we don't use.
People are not using
You could if you don't know how to change a tire to a car, you could type in YouTube how to change a tire. You can find the answer.
Yeah.
We don't want to look for those answers.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are lazy. People are at an all-time high with the lazy.
Because we have the opportunity to become lazy.
Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash. Now people don't even leave the house. You know,
They
what I
don't
mean?
have to. People could, you don't have to leave the house.
No.
You can work from home, eat.
Is
get everything
obesity on the
delivered.
rise?
Yes.
It's always been.
Mike.
Yeah.
pull that up,
It
Mike.
hasn't like fluctuated since the 90s. It's like
No, it's
gotten
gotten
worse
worse. Yeah. Mexico, I think, is the highest right now.
for fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look at this.
They eat good out
rate-
there, bro.
Rate by country,
Yeah, sure.
2019.
Okay, that works.
Uh,
Most obese countries.
All right, so this was posted October 24th,
2019.
2019.
I love
So,
Mexican food. I was
let's
just
see.
eating
The
Mexican food
darkest
before this,
one-
not gonna
All
lie.
right, so one of the darkest ones is the United States, with obesity rate is 36.2%, with a BMI of 28.8.
We got the highest.
One out
we're
of every
the
3
highest.
people is like overweight.
We are one of the highest.
Can-
Next is Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Turkey, Libya, Egypt.
Wow. I didn't know they eat that good out there.
Maybe
They're all warring out in those countries. I thought they weren't eating good. Yeah.
Maybe they eat that bad.
Let's see. What another one? Algeria is another one. Down here, Argentina, Chile, Australia.
What about the rate though? Like, is people are getting fatter?
Like the ones that I'm saying are over. They're over 25% of the population.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Wall-E?
Yes.
Where the people live in the
live
floating chairs
chairs, yeah.
and are
I feel like
so
that's more,
fat that their head just kind of connects with their neck.
I feel like that's more of a. That's the reason why that's happening is because of big business.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I think
They may be
that could be.
They're being controlled by big business.
I think that could be the future, where people just live in motorized chairs and don't want to leave their house.
And they destroy the planet, and we have to leave.
25%. I'm talking about like 70 to 80 one day. You know what I mean? Where like fat people make up the world.
That's what we're trying to do to prevent this shit right now.
Yeah, we're really trying, man.
Trying so hard.
There's a lot of good people out there.
I bet this. I bet the skinniest countries are like Ethiopia.
One of the skinniest countries that I see on this right now is actually China with 6.2.
Oh yeah, that doesn't shock me at all.
6.2. Oh, Japan is actually smaller with 4.3.
Some of those countries are so skinny that the men even have like the majority have like almost like female like physiques.
Yeah.
Wait, there was one that had 2. I can't find it now. There was one that had 2%.
You ever seen what the pop stars look like in Japan?
No, I didn't.
They just look like girls.
Cambodia.
Oh, actually,
like, you ever heard of BTS? They're from like Korea.
Yeah.
They all look like women.
Well.
Oh, Vietnam.
That's like the wave out there.
Oh, that's by BMI. Why are you showing me by BMI?
Body mass
American
index.
Samoa. Well, American Samoa, that makes sense because Samoans are always big.
Yeah.
They have 74%.
Wow, 74%?
Yeah, 74%.
Holy mackerel.
Samoa, regular Samoa, is 47.
You know what though? Those countries are very small.
Aruba, 38. That's
holy shit.
Kuwait, 37. Cayman Islands, 36.
70% of what? Overweight?
Yeah.
Well, this just says obesity. This doesn't say overweight. It says obesity.
Just obesity. Obese.
You know what's funny? I went to Hawaii, right? I loved Hawaii. It was phenomenal. And then the next place I want to go nearby is American Samoa because you don't need a passport. I could just like roll up in there. But like I would be the skinniest. Like they would look at me and be like, "Sir, do you need a sandwich?"
Yeah.
Like,
do you need steak?
Feed you.
Yeah. Like oh my god, 70%. That means that at least 2 out of 3 people in that country are obese.
Yeah.
2 out of 3. That's wild. But that's a small country too. Like American Samoa is a very small country.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Type in most overweight countries.
Wait. Well, so what? So we're. Can you prove? Can you like? So people have been getting more overweight. They haven't been losing weight.
This is based upon. This was based upon a 2019 study in October, right? Of how many people in that population were obese. How many, by
the rates in America have increased though.
I can look.
I heard that it did.
Yeah, you should look that up. How have the rates increased? Like, what are obesity rates in America over the years?
America
obesity rates over the years. Because my thing is like with the information that's out now, and like the amount of freaking retro fitnesses and shit, I don't understand.
It's because I think it's because the carbs and sugar. So I blame that.
They even say social media is making people depressed.
It is. Well, when
just
people
looking at
when people get depressed, what do? A lot of times they eat, right?
Right.
What are they going to eat? They're not going to eat grass-fed steak.
No,
they're not going to eat eggs, are they?
No,
they're going to eat.
But they say they say that that's a problem in itself, is that people are going on social media and they ain't got shit going on, and then they look at this dude or whoever doing stuff.
Well, they think of all the they look at all the people who have like 6-pack abs and like, why can't I be like that? Thinking
to the donuts.
I can never be like that. That's the thing. People put themselves down too much, man.
I agree. Actually, I think that
we don't know our worth.
As arrogant as people are, sometimes people don't realize that they're like they could be way better than they are. Like they think they've reached the pinnacle of who they are.
The journey never ends, man.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also one of those things too where like you got to realize that you can always improve, Especially if you don't feel good. Especially if you don't feel good and you're, like your health isn't great.
People like to give up. I refuse to give up. Giving up is what...
Never give up. Never surrender.
Never surrender. It's like overplayed now, but it's still true. I mean, I think a lot of people just give up and they just... That's why, this diet's not working because I've only done it for 3 days and I'm not feeling any progress, so I'm just going to give up. It's like, you don't realize what you can do. Like, your potential, people's potential is far beyond what they ever could imagine it could be.
Okay, so hold on. If I can, I just need to be able to read this correctly. So it says, okay, so it's on this chart. It goes from 1965 to 2015, or no, 1960 to 2015, right? And it says adult male obesity from 20 to 74 age age range. So there's overweight, obese, and extreme obesity. And so for overweight in 1960 it was just under 40%, and in 2015 it's actually just about the same, about maybe just a little bit less.
It's about the same then. it's just people who are avoiding the study.
No, that's just overweight, right? Obese goes from 49% to about over 70%, almost 75%, just obese.
Mm-hmm.
And then extreme obese goes from just about the same of obese all the way up to 79%.
That's a big increase.
55 years.
That's crazy. You know, people used to home cook more too back in the day.
Yeah, well now you can just go anywhere and get food.
Right.
That's the thing. Now they eat now they're eating processed foods from
right.
from a McDonald's and stuff. They just go out and eat that shit.
A lot of parents don't even know how to cook right now. You know what I mean? Like they grew up with a family that didn't cook. They don't cook, you know, so they don't have the skills to cook. You know what I mean? To cook healthy meals. We're going to McDonald's, kids.
Because it's easy. To eat, you know,
right?
Yeah,
it's convenient.
It's what is convenient to them, and I feel like learning to cook and learning how to cook things is probably the best skill you can have for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't cook enough.
It is one of the top ones.
My oven's about as far as I go.
Bake that chicken.
We gotta find a marker for when I took the bottle. That's got to be an investigative thing. Find where Dave took the bottle.
Yeah, right. We'll never know.
I'll look it up.
We'll never know
at some point on the video.
They're gonna, that's gonna be the Easter egg. Find
I'll
when Dave.
I'll pin it in the comments. I'll pin the time.
Find when Dave stole his water bottle.
Holy shit!
Oh man, that's really funny. Yeah, obesity rate is through the roof and it's terrible. 70 freaking almost. It's probably over 80% at this point for extreme obese by now. Well, I would hope not. I really would hope not for because of the movements that have been going on. For for people to fucking clean their act and get healthy.
Exactly. If anything, just do it for your family. You know what I mean? Because I mean, really, if you treat your body right, you could easily live into your 80s. You know what I mean? Definitely. If you treat your body right, you could live in your 80s.
Technically, our life expectancy is about 80 now.
I believe it or not, when I grew up, I knew 3 of my great grandparents.
Really?
Yeah, they died when I was a preteen or whatever, but I knew 3 of my great grandparents. You know what I mean? If 3 out of 4 members of my great grandparents could make it that long in life, then it's
possible.
Yeah, what? 3 of them, not 2 or 1.
How old were they by any chance?
Late 80s, I would say. Really? Yeah, late 80s, I believe. Some were healthier than others, but I'm just saying, the fact that I got to know them shows that you could. Oh yeah. Your life expectancy could be crazy long. Who knows? By the time we reach that age, we could end up living longer. With modern medicine and whatnot.
Yeah, my great aunt was about 96, I think, when she passed.
We need a cure for cancer.
Betty White is 98.
Yeah,
whoa,
Betty White.
Whoa, and she.
Betty White's 98 and has a better sense of humor than most people I know.
Yeah, I don't even. Wow. It's insane to me how she's still alive, and I praise her, that she's still living.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I don't know how she does it.
It's very possible.
Well, remember how we were talking about how skinny they are in Japan and China?
Yeah.
The life expectancy out there is way longer in Japan than it is here. Believe it or not, it's at least a full 10 years, I believe. Their life, a full 10 years.
And it could be long. It could be a lot longer if, in the cities of Japan, if they didn't have so much pollution.
Right.
But there's also a lot less.
Japan's not as bad as some countries, though.
No, Japan is a lot better. I think.
Right. They're pretty progressive.
There's also a lot less processed foods in Japan.
Yeah. You know what's interesting too is if you look at their candy, the portions are this small.
Oh, super small.
Yeah, super small. They don't eat anything heavy. They don't. Their diet. The Japanese diet is, believe it, they say that's the biggest thing that helps them out is the fact that they just stick to those really light noodle meals and those lots of vegetables, and seafood's good for you too. Not in excess, but
salmon is extremely good.
Yeah, I love salmon. Stuffed salmon.
High omega-3 count. Yeah.
I don't mean to make it unhealthy, but I love stuffed salmon with some crab meat right down the middle.
I'm sure. Dang. I'm sure. That's the
from Costco.
Stuff.
They got some good stuffed salmon out there.
Oh man! If you have a takeaway for the audience, this whole podcast, what would it be?
These are good guys right here. Honestly, Honestly, I just think that what you guys are doing is great, and you know, a lot of people can talk, but you guys are actually walking the walk. You know, you got a brand already on the ground running and stuff. Originally, we were talking about like sensitivity, and I think the takeaway is that people need to start putting themselves in other people's shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They need to open their minds.
Right, and you might say, well, that in itself is sensitivity, but what I'm trying to say is that not everybody needs to be vilified and burnt at the stake over what they said or did, because that's not how you reach somebody. You reach somebody by learning from each other. You know what I mean?
Open communication, and I think it's great to bounce ideas off each other and learn. Things, right? Which is one of the reasons why we do it. To bounce new ideas people might not have heard of. Exercise
and things like that, too, is one of those things that people, if they were doing more, they would have less time to just sit on their butt on the internet to get and hey, I have nothing better to do today. Let me go on Twitter and be offended by something.
They could go to their neighborhood park and do some pull-ups and
the all gains lifestyle.
Be there or be square. Yeah. We're gonna end it here, but it was cool, guys.
This was very fun.
Epic having you on.
Thank you for having me. I hope I can come back again.
Yeah, it was epic. It was actually better than I thought, man. It was epic.
Yeah. Super long too. It was good.
Hopefully nobody's offended. We were nice. Trust me, we could have been a lot worse.
I feel like we were pretty nice.
We're good people and we got good hearts.
You know me. I put that filter up real quick.
We're good people with good hearts, and then we try
do
best.
some stuff.
Have a good one, guys.
Hey guys,
Eat good.
Yeah, if you like what you hear, subscribe and give a like. Comment.
Definitely share this around.
Yeah,
and definitely again go to allgainsapparel.com. Use the code podcast10 to get 10% off on anything on the store.
Yeah, guys.
Definitely use that.
Yeah, definitely comment your thoughts on our topics and get some discussion going, and we will see you next time.
See you later.